Welcome to the Zaxby's pregame show on WBFT.
Welcome to the Zaxby's it's not the coach's show. It's the pregame show. I'm Chris DeLambert. With me for the first time this season, Phillip Chappell. Phillip, what's going on?
Excited. Big night tonight, of course, under the lights on a Saturday night. This is unique for these young men and unique for us. We're excited to watch some high school football.
Well, the game is, the game is a big game for a lot of reasons. But anybody that wasn't aware, when they saw you pop up on screen, they're like, oh, they'd have tried a Chappell out. Oh, it must be a big deal.
This is my annual thing. I do want to make it to these games, and I appreciate the offer to come out and call the game.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Two teams coming in, Lee County and Southern Lee. Southern Lee 6-2 on the season, but undefeated in conference play, to face an undefeated Lee County team that's really laid waste to all of its competition this year. So essentially, this is the de facto conference championship game. The winner tonight wins the Tri-County Conference outright. There's no tie. There's no team playing to tie for second place, any of that. Number one is going to be the winner. Number two will be the team that drops this game. Both teams at this point a virtual lock to make the state playoffs. We'll get the announcement here over the next few days. But a lot of pressure, you would think, for both of these teams coming in. However, down on the field, I'm here to tell you, both of these teams are loose. I was surprised.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure the coaches have done a good job talking to that. I mean, this game, to be honest, has a playoff feel.
It does.
Being on a night like this where they weren't in school, that you can tell the excitement here, senior night here at Southern Lee, and so there's a lot of emotions going on. These young men have to deal with it. So the coaches, have gotten in their heads, talk to it, play our game, understand that there's going to be ups and downs, and the team that stays the most level throughout the game will come out victorious.
Well, it's one thing for you to think that might be the case, but that is exactly the conversation I had with Coach Ken Neal from Southern Lee 45 minutes ago. And I said, Coach, you a little loose, man. You need to get your game face on. He said, nope, these guys will follow my lead. We're going to be loose. We're going to play loose, and we're going to let it all hang out tonight. Yeah. So matchup-wise, you've got two dynamic athletes on both sides of the ball that both teams will look to when they need a play. For Lee County, it's no secret. A.J. Bull wears over 2,000 yards for the season, getting a lot of press and a lot of attention with what he's been able to do up to this point. I believe, coming in here, that Coach Steve Perdue and that Lee County staff are going to run Bullware until Southern shows they can stop it.
Yeah, and that's, the coaches, one of the ways you have to defend that is it has to be a team effort. It's got to be 11 men flying to the ball. You can't assume anyone's tackled. You've seen, if you've watched these young men run, they're never down until they are on the ground stopped. And so you have to treat it that way. You have to play. If I don't make the tackle, who will?
Gotcha. We'll take a quick break for the anthem, and then we'll finish those thoughts with the Southern perspective.
Something is worth doing. It's worth doing right. In this case, it's worth doing right and left. Introducing the all-new buttermilk and hand-breaded Southern Sweet and Smoky and Southern TLC chicken sandwiches. One has sweet pickles, shredded lettuce, smoky backyard sauce, and a potato bun. The other is an undeniable classic with lettuce, tomato, and mayo. Zaxby's. Friends. Family. Flavor. Order ahead on Zaxby's.com or use our app to skip the wait.
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so bad to the point where he had to end up in the emergency room. And he has spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is, don't be shy to tell people not to smoke around your kids.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
This is a crisis alert from Save the Children. Hurricane Florence has slammed the East Coast, causing massive destruction. Millions are affected by this disaster. Families have lost everything. Children's lives have been turned upside down. They're frightened and need to feel safe again. Save the Children is on the ground with emergency response teams and critical supplies.
They'll run it looks like an RPO, but they're going to hand it to Bullware most of the time. Mm-hmm. And then the other way is they'll run this little shuffle pass out to one side or the other. For Southern Lee, it's a little bit different look. They're going to try to get the ball into the hands of Tanoa Lockley. This is a kid, junior, really doesn't even have a position. Plays cornerback for him, returns kicks, plays wide receiver, lines up in the backfield. I'd love to see Coach Lonnie Cox running his little wildcat, and he had told me I got to give the kid a break every once in a while. The difference here is when they need a play, they're going to try to get the ball to him. You just don't know what form that's going to take. With Bullware, he's easy to find. You're gonna find him lined up there at tailback, and he's going to be coming at you. For those of you that are watching this and haven't seen Lockley or Bullware play this year, you are in for a treat. These are two extremely talented young men. I will tell you that if I was making a case for why Southern Lee is going to win tonight, it's because in the passing game, I feel like Southern Lee has better athletes in their secondary than Lee County's going to trot out at receiver. I think they can go play man across the board, stuff the box, and commit to the run without killing themselves. You make a case for Lee County.
Well, I think I would start with their defense. We talk about A.J. Boyer and offense and all the yards that he's put up, but if you watch that defense, one thing you'll notice right off the bat is the speed. And so has Southern Lee seen that kind of speed across all 11? Now, are they the biggest kids in the world? Maybe not, but they fly and they get up the field, they get the penetration, so that can disrupt any offense. From my perspective, if I were making the case for Lee County, it's going to be the effect of that defense, the attack mentality, and then Bullware, obviously, on the offensive side.
Well, I think it's safe to say for both of these teams, they will be facing the stiffest competition they've seen up to this point. Lee County, been criticized in the past for their scheduling. That's the way it's been done there for a very long time. Is they want to get their legs under them in the preseason. Really hadn't been popped in the mouth.
Right.
Southern, I think, is coming out here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to make a statement early and get on Lee County and see if they can get them in their head. And if you think back to 4 years ago when Southern won their very first Brick City Bowl, that's exactly what happened. Lee County came in and didn't expect Southern to get at them. And they did, and it kind of rattled them, and they never were able to recover.
And what's surprising, with Coach Burton Cates, as great as he was as a coach, really Southern Lee maybe had the upper hand from the scheming standpoint. They out-schemed them, they beat them maybe when they didn't have the talent level that Lee County had. So, we have a whole new coaching staff. So,
for both squads, really.
Yeah,
so
really, essentially, yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out and who can get that upper hand.
All right, we're looking forward to it. It's a great night. The crowd is continuing to file in. And Cameron Sharp is in the house. So, again, now you know it's a big ball game. So we'll be right back after this break for the kickoff of the Brick City Bowl. Looking forward to a great night of football.
It's game day at Classic Nissan.
I'm Mike Stozer, General Manager at Classic Nissan here at Sanford. My team of professionals have every position covered to meet all of your automotive needs.
The starting lineup. Your captains on offense, number 5, Holden Cruz. And number 10, Jasmine Dowell. Your captains on defense, number 55, Wesley Tater Womack. Number 7, Steve Dandrin. Whether you're a Yellow Jacket or a Cavalier, everybody gets a classic deal. For sales, service, or parts, visit us at ClassicNissanSanford.com or in person on Highway 87, right across from Walmart in Sanford.
Nobody beats a classic deal.
Official Caro sponsor. Are you ready for some football only on WBFT? Welcome to the Classic Nissan Game of the Week.
All right, welcome back to the campus. Southern Lee High School. Orange smoke taking over the facility. Sort of like a horror movie, man. I hope that right? Toxic is coming.
If it was Halloween, this would be great.
I'm watching, man. If people over there on the left side start falling out, I'm out of here.
Well, they said that they had their first malfunction. They set it off too early.
Well, Southern Lee hoping that's the worst thing that happens to them tonight. It is a beautiful night for football. It's great. It's cool outside, and it's 1,000 degrees in the press box.
Right.
How's that work out?
I don't know. I thought this was the type of night you go out and you don't even break a sweat, but that's already happened, so we'll see.
Well, it is a great night, and this is as big a game as most of these young men are ever going to play in, or many of these young men anyway. This is for the conference championship, Tri-County Conference title on the line.
I think I saw a stat that said the first time ever that both teams have been undefeated in conference.
In conference play, it's the first time. Last year, these teams got to play for a de facto conference championship, but it was for a tie if Southern won. It was a little hokey how that worked. This time it's indisputed, straight up. One of them is going to finish up the regular season undefeated. The other is not. As we said in the pregame, both of these teams locked into the playoffs. Lee County significantly higher ranked based on the fact that they're undefeated. But people forget when these teams get to the playoffs, they're playing in completely different brackets. You got Lee County that's a big 3A.
Right.
Southern Lee, it's a small 3A, so they won't see each other in the playoffs. Here's to hoping both teams win a state championship. Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, wouldn't it? That'd be awesome.
We'll settle for one, though. We'll settle for one. Both of these teams bring a lot of youth in. You're going to see that most of the folks that touch the ball on both sides of the field, sophomores and juniors, as far as the eye can see. The guys up front doing a lot of the heavy lifting. There's where your seniors lay.
Right, and both quarterbacks juniors, but experienced players.
They are.
They've played.
Thomas Harrington's been in the program here at Southern Lee for 19 years.
He's a redshirt senior,
yes.
A graduate assistant.
Yes. I think, Harrington was kind of he's sort of, I don't know, man, born to be the quarterback at Southern Lee, I think.
Yeah.
I think they began talking about him at quarterback when he was in about the 5th grade. And pretty good ball player he's turned into.
Baseball, shortstop, headsy, leader on the field, just in control, very, very, very calm demeanor, smart, and been around ball since he was probably a baby.
Well, you can't be in that family and not be around ball. That's just how that goes.
No, that is a fact.
But, Harrington, always been a tall kid, has finally grown into that and filled out and become more athletic. I am really, really, really excited to see what he does next year, both in baseball and in football, and see how far that athleticism and that skill is going to take him.
And he has some younger brothers coming along.
Yes, he does. Whole crew of them.
Yep.
So Southern Lee, they're set for a little while.
Yeah.
All right, Southern will kick off. They're in the gray jerseys with orange numbers to Lee County, rocking the all-white uniforms tonight.
Both teams looking solid with the uniforms.
Yeah, they are. And Southern breaking that I know you haven't been out here on campus yet this year. The orange stripe there at midfield with the orange numbers, that's special for tonight. So
gotcha.
I'm actually a big fan. From the booth, that makes it a whole lot easier. So I'm going to talk to Coach Neal and tell him, hey, it does let's just do that on the regular. All right, Pisano to kick off. It's a high spinner. You'll see that high spinner most of the night from him. Kick taken in at the 25 and carried back out to about the 30-yard line where Lee County will take over 1st and 10.
Yeah, the pooch is, it's a good, effective way. It gives your kick coverage team time to get down the field, and typically it limits the big play, and that's what you want to do.
Well, and there's always the chance that it's going to be mishandled,
right?
Which adds just another layer. All right, Colin Johnson leads the squad out. In the backfield with him, no surprise, A.J. Bullware, who will get the bulk of the reps tonight. Starts with a hand. He's right up the middle and is going to get about half of what he needs.
Nothing fancy, just base core opening play. What you're trying to do here, your offensive line, you're trying to get a feel for the speed, look at the scheme, seeing what they're running. Southern Lee running a 3-man down front. So that's a little unique, one kind of an extra safety, but Lee County's in the trips formation. So,
well, for Lee County and that staff, they do a good job of putting guys in position to succeed as Bullware is stopped there. And that'll bring up a 3rd down. And an interesting play call for Purdue and his staff. Here's the thing that I will say I like most about Coach Purdue in his first year here. He knows how to get his athletes into position to succeed. The question is, though, he's got a little bit of an old school mentality in that I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing until you stop me, and sometimes gets himself into a little bit too much of a pattern and becomes a little predictable. Up to this point, it hasn't hurt him, but we'll see how tonight goes. All right, Johnson checks the play. Everybody's looking at those wristbands. Why huddle when you've got wristbands? Johnson looking to his left, got a man, overthrows him, and it'll bring up the first decision of the game as Lee County faces 4th and 4 from the 39. They are going to roll the punt team out there. And with a game like this, with all the emotion, with the big crowd in here, so much on the line, special teams, always something you want to take a look at and see who wins that third phase of the game.
Yeah, you want to secure this punt. You want to make sure, make a decision early if you're going to catch it, field it. We got a little smoke in there, a little hanging around, lingering around like a cloud in the midair, so that doesn't help if you're a punt returner.
So Noah Lockley back for the Cavaliers, and to be honest, in the last 6 weeks, there hasn't been a team that Southern Lee's faced that's been willing to kick in the ball.
Yeah.
We'll see what Lee County's strategy is here. Good snap. Kick is up. And it's a low liner. It's going to bounce and get a good roll for the Yellow Jackets and roll dead at about the 22-yard line where the Cavaliers will take over for their first crack at it on offense.
Yeah, that's a good, effective punt. Get it there where he can't catch it and get it down and let it roll out. Give them they're starting inside their 25-yard line. It's good field position for Lee County.
All right, so with 10.5 left in the first quarter, Thomas Harrington leads the Cavalier offense out onto the field. Ingram and Lockley are in the backfield with him, and they're going to come out with 2 wideouts.
Lockley really wide on the right side.
Really wide. He's got single coverage with no safety over the top, which is a little surprise. There he goes. They'll do that all night. They're going to find Lockley and roll that safety over top. I promise you that.
Good old-fashioned belly dive. I'm not a big fan of that play because essentially you got a linebacker unblocked, but it's effective. That's a 5-yard gain, quick hitter. A lot of times, if linebacker's not checking, looking at the linebacker, at the fullback, can be a very effective game. It's one of those keep you honest type plays.
All right, so the I formation here, we haven't seen much of this. In fact, I give the coaches over there at Southern grief all the time because I tell them they don't have anybody on the team knows how to take a snap from center. Not in the shotgun. Ingram rolling around trying to get to the edge on the right. It's bottled up and will lose a yard. And 3rd and about 6 coming up for the Cavaliers.
Well,
I love when the coaches tell you, we're not going to change anything. We're going to do what we do, and they come out and run something nobody's seen all year. And it tells about the level of trust. They're like, no, this is G14 classified.
Well, so the key is, will they stick with it?
Will they?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Southern in the I haven't seen a Southern quarterback under center 2 plays in a row in 6 years.
Yeah,
so I don't know what's going on.
So, maybe the Southern Lee's saying, hey, we're bigger up front. We're going to, take away some of their speed by running straight at them.
All right. Well, real quickly, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, 4th down.
Well, the offense isn't coming off the field.
Wow, it's 4th and 1.
All right. From their 32-yard out, there they go.
Check it. And, punt alert. And here, we could have a fake right here. This would be a good way to get early momentum or lose it. 4th and 1, everybody's a little confused. Did he call the fake? Are we running it? You see a lot of wandering around out there.
I tell you, Southern of these 2 teams, I think Southern is the team playing with house money. All right, Lee County coming after that kick and almost got it. All right, nobody back for the Yellow Jackets, and punt finally takes a little bit of a Cavalier roll dead about the 32-yard line. And that Lee County offense coming out, hoping to do better things this time round.
All right, so the Butterflies are gone now. Coaches have gotten a look at what the schemes are, made some adjustments on the sideline. Let's see what Lee County does to offset this defense. With the three-man front, typically what you're going to see is you're going to see 1 linebacker, maybe 2, come from depth. They're going to add a 4th player on that line. It just doesn't look like that. A little tighter bunch here.
All right, Southern, I think, is going to get a timeout here. I think they're a little confused about what they're looking at as a new formation from Lee County. Both coaches mixing it up a little bit. While they sort it out, we will take a quick break. You're watching the Classic Nissan Game of the Week on WBFT and the NFHS Network.
Hey. Okay, Dax. Prostate cancer exam time. Not happening.
Dax.
Listen, I'd rather do anything than get a prostate exam.
I'd rather sit in the middle seat on a long haul. I'd rather sort my nephew's Legos by color. I'd rather do hot yoga next to a sanitation worker. I'd rather fold a fitted sheet.
The corner.
Dax, a prostate cancer screening starts with a simple blood test, which we are already doing today.
Smart.
Seriously, it's that easy. Go to pcf.org to learn more.
All right, welcome back. 1st and 10, Lee County. Johnson dropping the throws. Got a man down the seam and just overthrows him. He got inside leverage on the linebacker there. And good recovery, but the wide receiver still had position. Jordan Graves flashing down the seam. Johnson unable to hit him.
Yeah, I was thinking play action. If they're going to tighten them up, they're going to show run and then try to throw a pass over it. And he was open.
He had it.
That's 2 open receivers right there that we've just Collins just overthrown just a little bit.
All right, so 2nd and 10. Man in motion for the Jackets. The hand is up the middle. Boulware's got a step and is going to pick up 20 before the Cavaliers bring him down. And that'll be a Lee County first down.
Quick hitter. I mean, that's fast.
He's sudden.
Yeah, that is fast. And that takes some getting used to. That takes you if you are able to get used to it. You know, the thing about him is he's strong. He's not just fast. He's got some strength to him.
And for a guy that has that kind of short area burst, to run as hard as he does is really impressive. You don't see that very often.
No.
All right, Johnson swings it out there to Boulware. Boulware's got the edge and is going to pick up another 15, 20, 25 down inside the 25-yard line of the Cavaliers. And after bottling up that running game on the first series, Lee County's starting to get loose.
Yeah. So those are the tackles you have to make. You know, you get your hands on him. You wrap him around, trying to wrap him around the legs. You got to bring him down. I mean, turn that 10-yard gain ended up being a 20, 25-yard gain.
All right, 1st and down as Lee County's creeping close to the red zone. Johnson hands again to Boulware. Boulware's picking his way. Going to be stopped close to the line of scrimmage.
And Lee County playing with the tempo, which, you know, that's a normal thing, but it's effective. You know, and the key is you got to get a first down. Once you get that first down, then you're able to implement your tempo, play fast, and then the defense starts sucking wind a little bit. That's where that tempo plays, you know, very important.
Well, and you talk about sucking wind. We talked in the pregame. Southern Lee really, truly, they only dressed 29 players, and really only about 17 of those are big-time contributors. This is a team that is not very deep. And if you can run the ball effectively, as Colin Johnson gets close to another first down there, if you can run the ball effectively, it not just breaks their spirit. Yeah. You're really going to see these guys gassed on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
That's a big concern for this Southern Lee coaching staff.
And it's a big advantage because I don't know are there any players for Lee County that play both ways?
There are a couple. There are a couple. But most of that is guys that'll come over. Baldwin will come over and take a couple snaps at the running back position. Des Evans will come over from the defensive line, and they'll rotate some of those. So some of those big fellas off the offensive line will come in and get a little spot duty at defensive tackle.
And that's something we used to do in the Pop Warner days. We'd say, all right, let's pick 2 kids that we have to have on the field, and let's make sure they get on offense and defense. You know, everybody else, let's try to get them a starting job. When you have athletes like Evans and Boulware, you try to get them on the field as much as possible.
Absolutely. All right. So 1st and 10 inside the Zaxby's tongue torch red zone. Johnson takes a snap, hands to Boulware. Boulware going nowhere. Yeah. There haven't been any short gains really for Boulware yet. It's been all or nothing.
Yeah. A lot of pressure there. Caleb Medlock getting up in there. Scrappy player, tough nose.
Medlock, one of my all-time favorite Southern Lee Cavalier players. I'll be sad to see him graduate when their season comes to an end. Medlock amazes me every time I watch him.
Loves the game, doesn't he?
He does, and takes the best angles, gets the most leverage out of that frame. It's unbelievable the number of tackles he's put up here in the last 3 or 4 years.
Watch your play action here. They went with the tight bunch look again.
Graves in motion. Snap. Hands it in there to Bullware. Thought about pulling it out. Bullware's going to get a couple, bring up a big third down for the Yellow Jackets. Tay Flack checks in for the Cavaliers.
Big play here. If Southern Lee can keep it to a short gain, then that might put them in a field goal situation. Or if they get it within 5 or within 4, 4th and short, they may go for it.
Johnson takes a snap, drops, looks down the middle, and I tell you what, that ball bounced up in the air and seemed like it hung there for a million years. Graves unable to pull it in, and that'll bring up 4th down, and looks as though – I don't know. They're bringing the big package.
Going the heavy set?
Yep.
Big Dez.
Yep. It got 7 to get it here now.
Here he comes.
Now they're going to bring it. There they go.
Yeah, your holder.
There we go. Trey Underwood coming out on the field late. And honestly hasn't kicked very many field goals this year. It's been mostly extra points. This one is going to require a little bit more work. This will be from 29. Not much wind. Snap is low, almost got there with the rush, but the kick is up and good. So with 5:31 left in the first quarter, the Yellow Jackets strike first. We'll take a quick break and come back with the kickoff. You're watching the Classic Nissan Game of the Week.
One choice, First Bank. Online banking, checking accounts for business and family to fit every need, including mobile banking, no-fee traveler's checks and money orders, and so much more. First Bank is conveniently located on Spring Lane, South Corner, and Sanford, and North Main and Broadway. First Bank is your progressive community bank.
Hi, I'm David Bashir. Here at First Bank, I feel like we've got all the right people in the right place to serve your banking needs now and in the future.
All right, welcome back to an early November night here on campus of Southern Lee in Sanford, North Carolina, the county seat for Lee County, North Carolina, right dead center of North Carolina. And today was the last day of early voting. Did you vote yet?
Not yet.
You're a traditionalist?
I'm
You'll
off
get out
Tuesday.
there on Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm a Tuesday
There you
guy.
go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I will be in Durham all day Tuesday, and I'm not sure I could make it back and get it done. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger today. Took one of my kids today to register and vote for the first time. So I doubled up on that old civic duty. I'm kind of proud of myself. All right, Yellow Jackets up 3-0. 5.5 to go left in the first quarter. We'll kick it off. And we saw Lee County employ that short spinner. This one's an ugly knuckleball. Going to be fielded there by E.J. Fox, who's tackled by the first man. Nice shoestring tackle there by Caleb Howard.
I noticed I went to the JV game the other night, and Lee County did the same type of kick, and it's kind of, something you don't see a lot of, but it was truly effective right there. It's slow. It's, squirmy, a little moisture on the ground out there. You have to be careful, make sure you field it, Just took up a lot of time. By the time he looked up, he had, 3 steps and somebody hit him.
Well, you said a little bit of moisture out there. I was on the field earlier, and it is a lot softer and a lot wetter than I would have suspected. We'll see what that means in terms of footing and the ball getting wet as the night progresses. All right, Harrington from the gun, barking out signals, got Lockley coming in motion, fakes the hand, now looking and taken down, and the ball is out, and Lee County pounces on it, and that is exactly the opposite of what the Cavaliers were hoping to get done there.
Well, I mentioned it, where they're going to stick with the I formation. That's something that you can practice, spend a lot of time on this week. They could have spent a lot of time on this week, and then one series, and they said, okay, let's go back to what we do. And pass rush, first play, boom, fumble. That's a big turnover.
Well, I can tell you that back in the day when Madden really became a great video game, when you were playing it on the all-pro mode, you knew that if you were playing against a good pass rush, if you ran play action, you were going to get sacked.
Right.
That's what just happened there. You're talking about a Madden level, all Madden level defensive front. All that misdirection and all of that quickly with those guys waiting with fresh legs right now, that was a recipe for disaster. And the worst possible thing happened. All right, Johnson hands, Bullware stacked up. And that Southern Lee team, boy, I tell you what, playing fired up.
Yeah, they definitely focused on this, and you can tell, kind of like what you mentioned earlier, Lee County's going to keep pushing it, and what they're hoping for is just over time it's going to wear on you, and, you know, he's going to bust one. He's going to break one here before long.
Well, and Lee County definitely wins the bus test. You know, when they got off the bus, when they got over here today, their offensive line has a significant size advantage over Lee County. Now, Lee County is going to play downhill. They're going to shoot gaps. They're athletic. Bullware splits the middle, breaks the tackle, touchdown, Yellow Jackets, 9-0, 4:35 left in the first quarter.
Okay.
The problem when you're playing that downhill defense and shooting gaps is you got a chance of running right by the running back, and that's exactly what happened there. Very little resistance as Bullware's in for his first touchdown of the night and extends the Yellow Jacket lead.
Well, the coaching staff, I'm sure there's a coach in the box up here, and he's looking, he's like, hey, let's tweak it. Let's run this hole, that hole, A gap, B gap, move it around, and then all of a sudden, boom, you find the right gap.
Well, they got it. Underwood on to add the extra point. The kick is up, and it is good. And the Yellow Jackets have put their foot on the gas here as they take an early 10-0 lead. We'll take a quick break and see you on the other side with the kickoff.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
All right, welcome back to the Classic Nissan Game of the Week. I'm Chris DeLambert. Phillip Chappell, kind enough to grace us with his expertise here in the booth. I always look forward to having you around, man, because you're going to teach me something during the course of the game.
No, same here.
Oh, shoot.
A lot to learn. One of the smoothest talkers I know. So, as we were saying during the break, this is an important drive right here. Southern Lee needs to, one, get a first down. Give the defensive players some break and take a little pressure off. I would think the return men should maybe sneak up a little bit. They're a little deep.
I agree with you. That knuckler generally lands somewhere at about the 25.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nope.
Pooch,
this is a little
onside.
pooch this time.
Gotta get the ball.
Got to get on it. Got to get on it. Get out of bounds.
Man.
And it didn't. And that's picked up by the Yellow Jackets.
For the juggler, aren't they?
And I tell you what, it's all Lee County right now.
Yep.
You got to be alert. And I told you, it's a soft, wet track out there. That ball took a funny bounce, and I don't know who the up man over there was, but as he tried to cut back, well, Southern's climbing out of there saying they got on it.
Well, that's big.
That's enormous. And really as good as a turnover for Southern with how that entire sideline fought.
Well,
they were set up.
Honestly, I like the call.
Why not?
The return men, like we pointed out, were deep. There's a big gap between the front line and the second line, and perfectly executed kick. It's on their sidelines. That's where you want to kick it. You don't want to kick it over here to Southern Lee's sideline. And, hey, they still got their defense in there on the, 30-yard line.
Yes, sir. Now, we haven't talked much about in the pregame. Well, you got somebody lined up. I think this left end down here is offside.
A little aggressive.
That's one of the high school rules I don't much care for is you call that lined up offsides before the snap.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody much cares what I think of that rule, frankly. And that's Jaden Covington called for the offsides pre-snap penalty, and that'll make it a little easier for Southern as they grasp for some momentum here. We have made it almost through the first quarter without talking much. There's to Noah Lockley. And he has got a step and going to be across midfield. There's a flag back at the 27.
15 more. It's a late
and
hit.
I think you hit it on the head, Phillip. I think we've got a roughing the passer call on top of this.
Yeah,
and it is, which will move that ball all the way on down to the 30-yard line. And just as soon as the Cavaliers had to have a big play. That comes just in time. The first time Lockley touches the ball, he's good for 25 as Don Clayton breaks out his brand new race car sound effect. I love it.
Well, I understand it's a screen, and I understand the linemen are going downfield to block, but listen, you got to slow those guys down just a hair. You got to bump them. I mean, Thomas got killed. He barely got the ball off on a wide receiver screen, so you got to stop them at their feet just a second.
Well, as an offensive lineman, you're like, Coach, I was selling it, though. All right, Harrington, 1st and 10, inside Jagged territory for the first time. Big Rodney Ingram with the run. Got around that edge and running like a grown man down near the 20-yard line.
That's a solid young man right there. What do they list him as?
They list him at 180.
Yeah, Try 215 right there.
I have said this before that every now and again in the booth I think I could get down there and put a helmet on and put it on somebody, and then I watch Rodney Ingram run and I'm like, no, I don't
want to do that.
No, sir. All right, 2nd and short coming up. This is a play call. If you got something up your sleeve, nope, they're going to run a straight quarterback draw. Harrington's got the yardage, but that flag coming out that quickly in the backfield looks like a procedure call coming to me. Yeah, false start. I think maybe Ingram got a head start on that. Must have been in motion without coming set.
Yep, had to be something in the backfield, otherwise he'd have called it dead.
Yep, so that'll back it up 2nd and 6, which is still ahead of the Chains, but not quite as nice a field position they had just a moment ago.
One of the things with the uniforms, the white and the dark gray is you can tell real fast, what kind of penetration Lee County's getting. When you see a lot of white in that backfield, that's showing how fast they're getting back there.
Absolutely. All right, so Harrington's gone the whole way at quarterback so far. We, at some point, I am certain, will see Tay Flack. All right, Harrington on the move. Got his man. That's pass interference. They're screaming for it. Here it comes late.
Good call.
Flag comes in at about the 8, trying to keep up with Lockley. And I said the footing is bad. And that's Caleb Howard, who had the coverage and just came up a little bit too early, bumped Lockley in the back, and that'll get Cavaliers a first down.
Well, blitz came off the corner. Thomas did a really good job of getting away and getting out where he could see and threw an accurate pass. Southern Lee's got to keep their heads up, see where that's coming from. It came off the corner.
Something that I've been impressed with both of these quarterbacks throughout the year is their ability to move and throw the ball on the run. And neither struggles really to run one direction or the other. Both of them can roll to the left or right and still deliver the ball down the field. All right, Flack in at quarterback. I promised you he would be. Ingram gets the carry, picks up a couple. All right, Tay Flack started the season as the 1A quarterback to Harrington's 1B, and as time went on, I think the coaching staff, I know the coaching staff decided, you know what, if we put Harrington back there, he's not quite as athletic, but he frees up another weapon that we can deploy other places.
Balances out the field, puts him on the other side of Tanoa.
When you see Flack in there at quarterback, it's a lot more likely that they're going to run a designed quarterback run. And there goes Flack up the middle. I feel like a bit of a soothsayer right now. All right, Pyle still moving inside the 10-yard line. We'll see where they stop that forward progress and bring up a big 3rd down for the Cavaliers.
It's fun to watch this. Lee County typically runs more of a zone-based blocking scheme up front where they're all 5 men kind of work up the field at the same angle, whereas you see Southern Lee using more trap, pulling more guards, pulling linemen. That time they pulled a tight end or brought the tight end down to be kind of another lead blocker. So a little different scheme on both sides of the ball.
All right, Cavaliers need to get it down to about the 4-yard line for a first down. The hand is to Ingram. Interesting play call. And is inside the 10 down to the 7 or 8 yard line. Be interested to see. No hesitation from Coach Neal, though. He's going to trot Daniel Pisano and the field goal team on out there, as there is an injured Cavalier, and that's Rodney Ingram, a player they could not really afford to lose.
Daniel, one of my former players, started playing football with me as a Pop Warner player. Fun to watch him first scrimmage, he got out there and he totally athletic, very athletic, fast, big, strong kid. Had no idea what he was doing. And he got popped one good time. And I said, hey, it's okay. You can go hit that guy back. By the end of the scrimmage, he came up to me. His eyes were huge. He said, I love this. He said, I can be as mean as I want, and I can go hit people. And he just, from the rest of the year, took off.
Well, he is not your typical build for a high school kicker.
Oh, no.
Just a sophomore, and has come in here and really done well.
Yeah.
Replacing Richard McCullum, who was a fixture here for 4 years and now kicks for Western Carolina.
I started to say this earlier, but that was a huge advantage, especially in this game. You know, when there were defensive games, and you know you had Richard who could make a 40, 45-yard field goal pretty much on call.
Yeah.
And a lot of those low-scoring games, you have a kicker like that, can be a huge advantage.
Well, and thus far, Pisano has done a great job taking the reins. And the coaching staff, if you pick their top 3 most improved players this year, I think everybody on that Southern Lee staff would tell you Daniel's right at the top of that list, has really taught himself and conditioned him. He's got 2 more years. That leg will get bigger and bigger, and he'll get more and more accurate, and could well be kicking on Saturdays at some point.
Well, this is a big kick right here. This cuts it to a one-score lead. Get the momentum back with Southern Lee a little bit, flip the field. But he's got to execute here.
We said tough footing, and that Lee County defensive front stays in there on punts and field goals. All right, so there's a pre-snap penalty here. This has got to be against Lee County.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And now, Coach Neal, we'll see where they're gonna spot this. This is gonna be
inches,
half
isn't
the
it?
distance, which is gonna leave them, if my quick math tells me right, about a foot short, but that changes things dramatically. And what do you do here?
I guess it's going to depend on how it works out, but I would have to say they're going to be aggressive and try and get the first down. But is Rodney Ingham, where's he at? See, he's still over here on the bench, so there's your workhorse.
All right, so 4th and about a yard, and the offense is coming back out. And I tell you, I expected both of these teams to play it wide open. This is the first opportunity, really, for one of these teams to make a statement. Flack is going to come in at quarterback.
I would expect him to get a keeper here.
And is going to go into the gun. Flack, hands, it goes nowhere. Lee County will take over. Great play by Desmond Evans, who shows you why he is the 3rd-ranked defensive line prospect in the class of 19 nationwide.
That might have been a good place to use a timeout. Not second-guessing the coach, but everybody was kind of disoriented, and the offense was kind of checked out. Hey, we're going for the field goal here. Now we got to go back out there and execute. And it was a design call. There was no read on that, or if he did read, he didn't read it right because he's reading Des Evans, and he gave it. If he'd have kept it, he probably could have walked in for a touchdown.
This is true, and I tell you, when you look at that second, I'm not trying to second-guess the play call, but, as a philosophy and a game plan, sometimes it makes sense when you have a dominant edge presence, run at him so he can't chase play down. When you decide I need 1 yard, I'm trying to get the ball as far away from that one guy as absolutely possible, as the run is stacked up just outside of the goal line. But they're going to get forward progress all the way back out to the 4. It'll be 2nd and 11 as that Southern Lee defense playing with some fire in their bellies.
Lee County will probably stay conservative here and hope that they can hit that gap, that unprotected gap, and take one to the house.
Well, that's the thing with the way this defense plays downhill and the way Bulware runs, where he is so sudden into that gap.
Don't want to do that.
How long those long runs he gets tonight are only going to be dictated by where the ball was placed when it started, because once he gets into that secondary, it's probably going to the house. And Southern couldn't afford that. Jumps off sides and shortens it up to about 2nd and 6.
I mean, it's a big difference. When you get outside that 10, You can breathe a little easier. You're not taking your sets back in the end zone as a quarterback. It's a big difference.
All right. Counting down to what may be the last play. No, well, we'll see. Throwing it out there. Johnson has been off now. There's 3 times he's put the ball in the air and hadn't really been close on any of them. Yeah. Clock stopped with 11 seconds left in the first quarter, and big third down here for Lee County. Southern can get off the field here and keep field position. All is not lost after that
well, that's a scary pass.
Debacle on 4th and 1.
Yeah, that's a scary pass. Throwing an out route down inside your 15-yard line. You definitely want to miss on the outside edge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You miss to the inside, it may be a walk-in touchdown. All right, Johnson looking at the armband, barking out signals. 3 wide left. Drops, rolling, gets it out there, throws it in the ground. There is a flag. There are 2 flags coming. You're going to get a post-play personal foul against Lee County, and I'm wondering if it's coming following a hold by the same guy. We'll see here in just a second.
Could be. That was one of those double screen looks where you look one way and check to see if it's there and then come back to the other side.
Well, DeAndre Dingle-Price may be about to get the double whammy here. We'll see what the call is.
Well, you could probably decline the first one. Well, you could only take one, and it would be the second one because you'd want it to be 4th down. Some serious discussion by the referees.
It is a serious discussion.
And do we have any wind tonight? 7 seconds on the clock.
Well, the other piece of this is now, if they decide that personal foul was post-possession, you could get both up. Could you not?
Oh, yeah, if it was after the play.
Well, see, that may be part of what the discussion is. Surely they know what the penalties are by this. At this point, they're talking about how they can enforce these.
If you did take the first one, then it would still be 3rd down.
That's absolutely true.
So they get to replay it.
That right there is what we call astute analysis, Mr. Chappell.
You got to keep these referees in check.
Oh, buddy. I tell you, these guys have been good so far. We've had some crews throughout the season that have, oh, my gosh.
Go watch a middle school game.
Oh, buddy. I can't imagine.
I watched the East Lee, West Lee game, and you've got referees saying one thing, and the side judges are saying another, and no communication.
So we're about to get offsetting penalties. There's one.
Looks like it's on Southern Lee.
And the question becomes, what? I'm baffled as to how both of those calls were against Southern Lee. Wow. Baffled.
Haven't seen
a baffled, as are some of my compadres over on the other side of the press box. That looked
is it face mask? I haven't seen a signal yet.
No signal. He's just yelling it out across, so we don't know.
Must have been like a face mask and a late hit maybe.
Well, that's enormous.
Yeah.
Now you've got 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets out at the 35-yard line. And that's a win all the way around. A little confused as to how that just went down.
Did I say white? I meant gray. Penalty misspelled with gray.
Well, Coach Neal, he wants an explanation. He's out on the field.
Oh, I would
I don't know if he's going to get one.
That's a big one.
Satisfied enough that he walked off the field. I don't know. I'd like to talk to him about that one. All right, so here we go. 7 seconds left in the first quarter. Colin Johnson from the gun takes a snap, hands to A.J. Boulware. Boulware's got a step. Flag comes out immediately, and the referees are taking over this ball game, Phillip.
Yeah, I just want the boys to play ball, let them play ball.
This right here may be what you call a make-up call.
Yep.
And that's a hold. It'll back it up. Be 1st and 20 coming for the Yellow Jackets. That guy, I swear it came out pre-snap.
Yeah, he had his hand on that one, didn't he?
That must have been the referee or the official that lost the argument over there they were having in that huddle. He's like, all right, y'all, I got this. All right, so when we come back from the break, we'll start the second quarter to be 1st and 20, for the Yellow Jackets. You're watching the Classic Nissan Game of the Week.
If something is worth doing, it's worth doing right. In this case, it's worth doing right and left. Introducing the all-new buttermilk and hand-breaded Southern Sweet and Smoky and Southern TLC chicken sandwiches. One has sweet pickles, shredded lettuce, smoky backyard sauce, and a potato bun. The other is an undeniable classic with lettuce, tomato, and mayo. Zaxby's. Friends. Family. Flavor. Order ahead on Zaxby's.com or use our app to skip the wait.
All right, welcome back to the Classic Nissan Game of the Week. Chris DeLambert and Phillip Chappell on the call tonight. 1st and 20 after the hold for the Yellow Jackets as they nurse this 10-0 lead. The hand is to Bulware. Bulware going nowhere as he's stuffed by Cedric Douglas.
Good job by the D-line. They've done a good job bottling that up. You know, he had the best runs have been the ones that are most direct, downhill, quick hitters, right in the middle of the defense.
All right, so that now they decided since there was a penalty, they couldn't end the quarter on a penalty. So now we will go on to the second quarter. We'll stay here through the break and listen to the Cupid Shuffle, apparently. So what's going on in your life, Phillip? What's going on? Anything cool?
Well, my middle son was the quarterback for Wesley this year. Now, this is a guy who's only played tight end, defensive end, so it was fun to watch him play a little quarterback. Led his team to a victory last game of the year. Daughter's playing a little softball. Older son ran cross country over here at Southern Lee, so they keep us busy.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, so the quarterback, is he going up to high school next year? Has he got another year left at West?
Yeah, he's 8th grade, so he'll be coming over here.
All right, to Southern.
Yep, so he's shot up. He's pushing 6 foot tall.
Okay.
Size 13 shoe already. For a 13-year-old, that's not bad. So I don't know where he gets that from.
You know, when we do the shots on screen together, normally I kind of slouch on the table and I'm good. And it all works out. And I saw the shot and I was like, I'm going to have to stand up on my tippy toes. All right. Second and a bunch coming up for the Yellow Jackets. Haven't had any success through the air yet. Colin Johnson's put it in the air 3 times and has missed on all of them.
Yeah, all to Graves. All passes to.
That's a good point. All right, he half fakes, got a man, and
lost his shoe.
Yeah, I thought it was. I just assumed it was another flag coming out, but no.
Well, they changed and ran just a curl route, and that's just a lot easier to hit. Southern Lee has somewhat soft coverage on the wide receivers, so
it was Cameron Horton with the first catch of the game for the Jackets, and brings up 3rd and 12. And we keep saying this every 3rd down. Big play for Southern trying to get off the field, and there
stop that
again. You've got to stop that offsides.
I mean, that puts it third mid-range versus that 3rd and long. That's a big changer in the stat book.
And that's Anthony Woods. I didn't think Anthony was going to play tonight. Anthony Woods, a big part of that defensive line rotation. Not his shining moment right there. So 3rd and 7 coming up. Johnson giving hand signals to the receivers.
I would have thought maybe they'd run a screen or something like that. Now they have a lot more plays in the playbook.
All right, got a bunch set here to the near side. Tim Lett up on the top of the screen all by himself. Cavs showing blitz. All right, Bulware is right up the middle, runs by everybody, and is going to go the distance. That'll be 65 yards. No flags on the field. 65-yard touchdown, A.J. Bulware, as the Jackets extend their lead to 16-0. And I told you, when he gets to that next level, the distance that he's going is only it's predicated on where the ball was spotted to start.
Well, that turns in from a 5-yard penalty to a 7-yard penalty.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's a big difference.
All right, Trey Underwood on for the extra point. Hold is down, kick is up, and it is good. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Classic Nissan Game of the Week. 17-0 Yellow Jackets, second quarter.
Are you ready to sell or buy? Call me. me, Crystal Copas, to assist you with that real estate transaction. Residential, commercial, or investment properties with the RE/MAX brand and my highly efficient team, I'm your go-to girl with all the things in real estate.
We just love our new house in Broadway.
And it was made possible by Crystal Copas, who sold our previous home in only 3 days. And I promise you, she'll work just as hard for you.
All right, welcome back. Chris DeLambert, Phillip, Chappell.
You play
Classic
golf?
Nissan Game of the Week. I play golf every single opportunity I get, sir.
You ever had one of those holes where you thought you had birdie and the other guy had bogey, then you miss it, and then he makes it, and then, that was that right there. Southern Lee had a chance to cut the lead 10-3. They don't execute.
Well,
yeah. Maybe he led. Maybe 10-7.
First you have 4th and 1, then you come back to the other side. You've got them backed up 2nd and 20.
Penalties.
And both.
Yeah, these penalties
go against you.
Had them 4th down. Had them 4th down. Got them. Let them get out of the hole, and then you give up. The play that you can't give up. The big run, and now it's a 17-point lead.
Yes, sir. All right, so all the momentum with the Jackets now as they kick off. Last time we did this, ball was mishandled.
It was interesting.
By the Cavalier return team. This time he's going to kick it deep. And that should be Fox on the return. Puts it on the ground, picks it up, tries to make a move, and is going nowhere. And the Cavaliers will take over 1st and 10 inside their own 15-yard line. Nothing going right now for the Cavaliers.
Yeah. Maybe one of our keys of the game should have been, which team is going to be penalized the least. Because right now that's Lee County, and it's showing.
Well, and I tell you, that is surprising, and that has been the one beef that people have had with this Cavalier team, or the Yellow Jacket team up to this point, is the number of penalties that they've incurred game after game after game. And it's one of those situations. It's hard to get upset when you're beating people 63-3, but then when you peel it back and you look at all of the penalties that are being called over those games. It's easy to say, well, you get into a game with a team that, is playing at a certain level. As Tanoa Lockley's got it, trying to make this thing interesting. Breaking tackles, has it all the way out to the 47-yard line. We'll give him 35 on the catch and run.
That was a great play call.
It was. And
Lee County was bringing the house. Typically you don't see a blitz down inside the 20-yard line like that. They brought jailbreak blitz, and Thomas did a great job getting the ball out, and perfect play call right there. They might have checked to it, I'm not sure, but it didn't look like it.
Well, I can tell you Thomas Harrington is he's got some moxie about him.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's twice he stood in there with that blitz coming in the face of the screen. All right, ball is thrown out there.
Oh.
Logan Hare makes an early appearance. We generally see Logan Hare later in the game, and I'm not going to know how to act in the 4th quarter when his shoes are not perfectly white. You see that they're shiny white now out on that wet track he's on. I'm sure they're going to show some signs of age and play today. All right, Harrington with 5 men in the route. Lockley spread at the boundary on the far side. Looking right, looking for Fox. Well, throws it between receivers. There's a
late hit.
Couple of flags coming out. I think you might get, I don't know if they're going to call targeting.
Something on Dez. Yeah, he got him good.
And he's not happy about it.
The only thing I don't like about an empty backfield is your defensive ends, your pass rushers, they literally have their ears pinned back. And they are coming. They have a pass move already figured out. I don't know that Thomas is much of a threat to run a quarterback draw. I doubt they're going to call that. But, that it tells the defensive line, hey, we're passing.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan with a defensive front like this going empty like that. That's something. All right, so
it was a complete pass, right?
It was an incomplete pass.
Okay. Where's the ball right there?
They got a second call. Both of these are going to go against Lee County, I believe. All right, so we have a personal foul, and I believe that was against Evans.
And it was a dead, yeah.
And then you
then
have
had a dead ball personal foul. The hand, when the referee sticks that hand up, that's dead ball personal foul. So let's see if he he's going to start back at
these guys. All right, so here goes one.
See if he does another one. Yep, targeting.
There's 15, and then the second call is going to be targeting on the receiver. That was E.J. Fox, took a shot up high. I don't know who tried to deliver it or who did deliver it, but Fox, one of those unprotected receiver situations, targeting, which is my least favorite rule in all of sports, is called, and the ball be moved down to the 25-yard line. So just like that, the Cavaliers are in scoring position.
It's my second least. The charge call in basketball is number one.
Not a big fan of that either.
I don't know what it is.
So how many football games have you seen in the last 12 months where you've seen both teams have multiple calls that were enforced on a single play? Because it never happens.
No, that's rare. I mean, there's a 30-yard chunks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the referees have done a great job of keeping just looks like a lot of confusion and not a lot of communication.
If you're going to mark all these penalty yards, I'll be decisive. Be decisive, because there has been entirely too much conversation. In the end, who knows? All right, so Harrington with his offense down inside the 35-yard line, or just outside the 35-yard line. Outside the 25. I'm confused now. I got to be decisive. All right, hangs it out there. Little confusion as Hare and Matthews both in the route out there, and overthrows both of them.
I would encourage the fans at home. It's easy to watch the quarterback with the ball and the running back with the ball and the wide receivers. Take a gander at the defensive line and just watch number 10. You know, I've watched him for 2 years, and he's done a good job of keeping containment, and he's athletic, and he's a big kid. But he literally is, how fast can I get to the quarterback? And that's what you want to see. And that's where those colleges that are giving him offers, they say, all right, here's the potential of what he can do.
And I'm here to tell you, everywhere I go, everybody that wants to talk about football asks me the same question. Where is Dez going? Is he going to Alabama? Where's he going? Where's he going? He hadn't said yet. He has not decided, and he's in no hurry to make a decision.
No.
So if you think you've heard somebody thinks he ain't know where he's at, they don't know yet. They don't know. He hasn't made a decision.
Well,
Alabama has offered. Ohio State has offered.
Florida
has offered. And he has not made a decision.
Well, he doesn't need to.
No.
If you're a 3.5, 4-star guy, you know, your dream school comes up and offers you, and you want to secure that spot. You know, the coaches are giving you pressure. Hey, if you don't take it, you know, we're gonna offer somebody else. He's a 5-star guy, top 20 in the top 10 in the country. That scholarship's going to be open until signing day.
Oh gosh. Larry Baldwin and a host of Yellow Jacket defenders bring Harrington down on 3rd and 10, and that's going to back it up for the very long 4th down here. And really, you probably have to go for it from here. 37-yard line, down 17, inside 10 minutes to go in the first half.
Does he have time to get a pass off?
That is a great question, and that's the first time that we've seen Harrington see that rush.
Yeah.
He felt it that time, and you could tell he knew it was coming. All right. Watch Lockley on the near side in the slot here. Harrington back. 3-step drop. Hangs it out there. Lockley's got it. Oh, he put it on the ground. He had it for a touchdown. Lockley will be losing sleep over that one. Harrington hung it out there. Lockley ran under it and could not bring it in as it hit him in the hands, and the Yellow Jackets will take over going the other way. And that's one of those plays when you come in a little overmatched physically, you have to make a play like that.
That was a beautiful pass. I mean, that was perfect right over to safety. And that's one of those things, Southern Lee's got to do more of. You can't just say, oh, they got a safety at the top. Well, that safety can't run as fast as number 3. So, and the best thing about it is he took 3 steps back and threw it. He didn't have to wait on it. He didn't have to read it. All he had to do was throw it in the right spot.
All right, so Colin Johnson comes out up 17-0. flips on the jet sweep, and it'll get about 5.
That's the young buck.
As Tyreek McKendall takes the carry. And, yeah, he is the young buck, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Big, bright future ahead for this young man. Where do you think he settles into this offense? What's his future? Right now they've got him playing a little bit of wide receiver, but this is a premium athlete.
Yeah, he'll be a running back. And he came out Pop Warner for a couple of weeks, and he was just beyond. He was beyond anyone out there. He was making people cry when he hit them, and, he ended up going and playing more AAU ball. He was a beast, and that was when he was 11.
5 yards on the carry there for Boulware, now at 14 carries for 135 yards. Yeah, McKendall's a special athlete, and this is becoming sort of, tailback you.
Mm-hmm.
Jameer Smith obviously parlaying his work at Lee County into a
pretty
trip
good gig
to Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's okay.
And I think everybody in the county assumed, there's a red shirt. They'll tuck him down there. Maybe he'll get a little play. Actually, there's another offsides call.
Third and 2.
As McLaughlin gives up a first down. That's 3 times now the Cavs have spit up a free first down, and that one really stings. Jameer Smith shows up at Notre Dame. Actually gets some carries.
Played early, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
I think they've got one of the running backs back that was out, big boy, number 2.
But making his mark early, and then you follow it up, and I think everybody assumed there was this huge letdown coming. And A.J. Boulware gets out of the gate with 1,000 yards in the first 4 games of the season. Yeah. And, that's really something.
Well, I think it's a combination of what Cates, and his staff had done before. These linemen were well coached. They're fundamentally sound from a blocking perspective, and then you bring in, an athlete like AJ in a scheme, where the coach has done a really good job of taking advantage of his personnel, and it's kind of new with the old, and man, it's been fun to watch.
It has, and this Lee County team, as we talked about earlier, ran the table in conference. Looking like things are going their way here tonight, but you're talking about a team once again at the skill position. When you look out over there, Jordan Graves is sort of the lone senior that touches the football with any regularity.
Yeah.
This team, as good as it is this year, I remember last year people saying, well, that Lee County JV could beat anybody else in the conference, and everybody sort of thought, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, now that we see these kids up here, you're like, oh my gosh. And there's no question this team is going to do nothing but get better next year. Remains to be seen how deep a run they'll make into the playoffs. I think because they haven't been pushed, people are concerned about that. Also a little concerned that they may be a little unbalanced on offense, as Boulware picks up about 10 there. Yeah, but, man, this team is loaded.
Yeah, when you get into the playoffs, you've got to have more than one thing, and got to be able to throw the ball. You got to be able to defend the pass. How many teams have they played? And I think that's what we've seen in the past few years when Lee County gets into the playoffs. How many teams can actually throw the ball with execution and accuracy? And they played the Jacksonville team. That was something. That was something to watch. That team was very skilled. Had a really tough scheme, a lot of speed. So I'm interested to see what Lee County can do. And is AJ in this scheme that they're running enough? Is it diversified enough? I'd like to see some more screens, some quick passes, utilize these guys that are split out here so wide. It almost gets kind of boring being out there, but let's take advantage of them. Let's spread out the defense a little bit. And that's just going to make the running lanes better for AJ.
And like I said, for better or worse, Coach Purdue is a guy, I'm going to keep doing it until you stop me, and we'll do that through the end of the game. And doesn't just, let's see what we can do throughout the course of the game to get cute. As Boulware's taken down on 3rd and 11 at midfield and brings up an interesting decision here. They're going to bring the punt team out. That is one of the shortcomings of that philosophy, is that you haven't developed it. Well, so is it there when you need it? How are you ever going to find out until you have to?
What we don't know, to some of us who watch this, even from my perspective, it looks like a handoff. Standing handoff, he's just handing up the middle. But these are design calls where it's a zone, inside zone, an outside zone, a trap. These are various forms of the handoff out of the spread formation, and you can tell some of the plays just look different. When he hits these gaps and he hits them fast downhill, that could be a trap. It could be something hitting quicker. It's an inside zone where it takes a little more and he comes off tackle and he works his way. I haven't seen a lot of that tonight. He's usually A-gap, B-gap kind of guy. When I say A-gap, that means between the center and the guard, B-gap between the guard and the tackle. So, will a team with equal talent, will that work? Will that be effective against that?
Well, and that's we said during the pregame show, that has been a criticism for years for folks that want to criticize the Lee County program, is that they don't schedule the most difficult opponents before the regular season starts.
Uh-oh.
And in years gone by, when you were playing in a conference with Terry Sanford and Grays Creek and those squads like that, not to mention Union Pines and Southern, who's still there, you played a brutal conference schedule.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to go out there and really test yourself in the preseason. Right. You were going to get all you wanted come conference play. Now
you're just not seeing it. Yeah,
you're not seeing it because Triton, Harnett Central, Western Harnett, not to take anything away from those clubs, just not very good ball clubs this year. Even Union Pines is on a down year. So when you look at conference play and you're like, well, Southern's probably going to be the one tough game we play. Well, we didn't play anybody tough before conference started. And
wow, great play.
Boy, I tell you what, almost a couple of great plays there. Almost a great pick. And then on the rebound, Lockley almost got to it.
Well, we talked about the penalties. That was, for me, from my perspective, we used to play the great teams of Florida State. Just elite athletes across the board. And they were some of the most penalized teams. And to me, it was just a lack of focus. I mean, they were winning 55-10, 62-7, whatever. They didn't have to even concentrate on, whether I jump off sides or I get a face mask here or there. But when they got in those big games, the bowl games, the national championship games, they had to clean that up. Tonight it looks like Lee County has come out here with a different focus. They've been on point. I mean, they've had very minimal, until the last two 15-yard penalties. They haven't had a lot of penalties. They've executed
Got to
well.
get rid of it. Throws it down the field. It's underthrown. It's going to be as good as a punt there as it's picked off going the other way. Jordan Graves, one of the two-way players for Lee County, makes a big play and brings it back to about the 30-yard line with 6:06 left in the quarter. And, Southern Lee has kind of gone from one extreme to the other. They came out in the eye under center, couldn't get any traction that way. Now they've decided they want to start throwing the ball down the field, which really plays into the strength of this Lee County defense. Lee County, a team with very few weaknesses to start, but you want to give that defensive front. You talked about Evans and those guys being able to pin their ears back. If they know the pass is coming, you got a problem.
You don't want to become one-dimensional.
You got Des Evans over here on the right end lined up like he's at a track meet.
Yeah.
And this defensive line giving Southern all they can handle right now.
Well, throw into the middle of the field, too. That's where it gets scary. If you want to throw outside, miss outside and high, that's okay. But when you start throwing in the middle of the field, that can get dangerous.
Johnson a Bullware, and that one's bottled up, going nowhere. So you see Evans out here, one of the top pass rushers in the country in terms of Rivals.com and the rest of the scouting service rankings. Who does he most remind you in terms of players you lined up against during your ACC years?
That's a good question. Well, a lot of people compare him to Jadeveon Clowney. Thank the Lord I didn't have to go against him. Now, I faced some freakish athletes when I was at, with Florida State, Clemson. UNC had some great defensive lines.
Nice plays. McKinnell's dropped for a loss.
Yeah, I think with his lankiness, there was a defensive end that played for Virginia. He was about a 6'8" kind of guy, long. I can't remember his last name, James Henderson or something, but long arms. I mean, I would jab him in the chest, and then he'd reach around and pat me on the back and do a swim move. And you watch one of the moves that Dez has added to his repertoire is the swim move. You watch him, later when it's pass rush time, he's got that hand grabbing the back shoulder of the tackle and going right over him.
All right, 3rd and 15 here for the Jackets. Cavaliers trying to get that ball back over to their offense and give them another shot before the end of the half. Screen coming. And it's almost picked off as, I tell you what, quietly, Deshaun McLaughlin is having a great game over there on that Cavalier defense, making plays all over the place. Dropped the running back for a loss there on the run, and then comes out here and breaks up that screen. That's 4 or 5 big plays from McLaughlin, having a great night.
Well, and that's what Southern Lee needs. They need something to spark that offense. They need a defensive play, a special teams play, some type of turnover, even a mistake on Lee County's behalf.
Well, they're playing a punt-safe look here, and I'm a little surprised. I thought they would have come after that punt or set up a return. They kind of went in between, didn't do either. So 4.5 minutes, Cavaliers get the ball back inside their own 10, looking to get on the board before halftime.
Really haven't had great field position tonight. I think they've started maybe one drive on their side of the 50, the other side of the 50. So I've been deep several times.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a little confused. 4th and 15 there. You wouldn't think there's a fake coming, regardless of the field position there. And if you're not going to fake it,
it's really, you're not going to expect a return there. I mean, he's going to knock it down in there with a pitch and wedge.
All right, so Harrington, who has struggled in the last couple series, fakes. There is confusion, and it will be 2nd and 10. Obvious miscommunication there as Harrington looked to hand it off, and there was nobody home. And he's talking to Matthews now, and hopefully they figure out which one of them had it wrong and don't do the same thing again.
Southern Lee's got to be careful. They want to throw – they should be looking to throw some quick passes here, but now they're going with a little bit heavier set here.
Well, they got a man over there to chip on this right side of the end of the jacket line. Nope, now they're going to bring a man in motion. Inside run coming here. Oh, fakes. Harrington looking down the field. Got a man. He's got a step, and that's 2. And Lockley, I tell you what, for a guy who has made big play after big play after big play for 2 years here, that's 2 that he had. He's taking the gloves off. I don't know what the issue is. Let the ball get into his body on both of those, which is kind of interesting because they were passes that hung up there. But struggling with the hands tonight, not something we ordinarily see. That's a guy that's not just a great short area athlete. He generally has great ball skills, both on offense and defense. I can count the number of passes I've seen him drop in the last 3 years on one hand.
Yeah, that's what separates the good players from the great, and it is kind of surprising to see that.
All right, flag coming. It's too many men. 9-11, he's counting. Or is that delay a game?
Could be a delay a game. It looked like he gave it.
Yeah. That's one thing I wish they'd do here at Southern is run the play clock.
Yeah.
Or you can see where it used to be down there in the corner.
Well, and we used to ask the same thing when I coached at Lee Senior. You have to pay for an extra referee.
Really?
It takes a referee to run the play clock. Yep. So a lot of schools don't do it because of that.
Didn't realize
they have to do it in playoff during the playoffs.
I'm glad you told me that. I didn't realize. All right, Harrington drops. Looking for a man. Scrambling. Going to be dragged down. You cannot do that. If it's not there, you got to throw it away. All right, so.
It's got to be a safety, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Good eyes. Good eyes as Harrington, unable to get out of the end zone, takes the sack for a safety, which pushes the lead for the Yellow Jackets to 19-0 and is going to give them one more crack before halftime. And Coach Steve Burdue and this Yellow Jacket squad will be looking to deal the death blow.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's you're going to kick off, free kick from the 20. So they're going to get good field position. You would expect. Depending upon what type of kick you do. You're definitely not going to do an onside kick.
All right, Daniel Pisano not 100% sure what's supposed to go down here, as he wasn't ready with his helmet, and they told him, you got to kick off, buddy. Now he's got it straight. Some Pop Warner coach back in the day failed him. He didn't know what the situation was.
He didn't kick for me. He played outside linebacker and wide receiver. So
well, he looks like he ought to play some outside linebacker for this squad. I think that he thought they were going to punt it from there, but they've actually elected to kick off, which is something a lot of people don't realize. You see NFL teams and most college teams punt the ball, but they punt it. Why? Go ahead and break it down.
Well, my assumption would be the hang time.
Yes.
You can get the ball up higher, give your team time to cover. You can angle it a little better.
Because you're not kicking off from the customary position.
Right.
In high school, you're kicking off all the way from the 20.
Right.
So, like you said, the thought process is
get it up there.
Get it up there and hopefully eliminate a long return. But
those NFL guys can put it in the air.
Oh gosh, can they? I was watching every time I watch a game. The place I love to see punts at is Texas Stadium. There's AT&T with that gigantic scoreboard, and I know every one of the punters in there's like, I could hit that thing.
Oh yeah.
All right, big high spinning kick, taking it to 40, and it's coming back the other way. Got one man to beat, get around that edge, and takes it all the way down near the 20-yard line. Jaden Chalmers making an entrance into the book. Man.
So I coached his cousin.
Wave after wave of athlete for this Yellow Jacket squad. And I tell you, there's some hands on hips and some head hanging on that Southern Lee defense. They are getting worn out at this point.
They've been on the field a lot.
They have.
See time of possession.
3:18 left. Lee County with a short field. Ball's at the 23-yard line. Johnson in the gun. He's going to hand to Bullware. Bullware breaks the tackle into that second level. Going to be close to a first down as he's inside the 15-yard line. Clock running inside of 3 minutes.
And that's more the zone look there. You saw how he went laterally first. He's looking for opposite color. If he sees opposite color outside, he cuts up. If he sees it inside, he bounces it. So you're just reading the opposite color for the other team. And you're starting to see Lee County's offensive line getting to the next level. They start getting up there on the gray and start pushing that line of scrimmage. That's when you're going to see some big gains.
All right, Johnson from the gun, fakes the handoff, looks. Ball is batted down, and that'll bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, I mean, as a coach here, you're saying, okay, it's 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1.5. Let's go ahead and hit a quick pass, incomplete pass. It stops the clock. That's not a bad thing. We feel confident we can get a first down with 2 runs here.
I was going to say, you've got 2 plays to do it. And Southern has shown that they can stop a run for a loss or for no gain, but they haven't shown they can do it consecutively.
Yep, consecutively. That's a better word.
Because they haven't had 2 in a row. They've had some nice plays on that defense.
Really well.
All right, man in motion, Jordan Graves, and you're going to get a timeout here for Lee County. They want to talk about this. 2:35 left in the half. All Yellow Jackets, they hold on to a 19-0 lead. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Classic Nissan Game of the Week.
Pat McCracken is a small business owner who wants to see Sanford continue to grow. Strong schools are the key for that to happen.
I've been in education for over 28 years as a teacher, a coach, a test coordinator, an administrator, and an athletic advisor. I want to make sure I pique the students' interest academically, athletically, technologically, and artistically. Vote for me for the Lee County Board of Education.
Paid for by the committee to elect Pat McCracken Lee County School Board.
All right, welcome back to Southern Lee High School in Sanford, North Carolina. The Brick City Bowl. Phillip Chappell.
Yes.
2.5 minutes left in the half. How desperate does the Southern Lee defense have to be for a stop here?
Well, it would be a big momentum boost going into halftime. Give them a little pep in their step.
And it's to Bullware. He's taking it down toward the end zone, and he will score again. And the Yellow Jackets stretch that lead out 25-0. That he runs angry.
Yes, he has good energy, as we say at my work.
He has good energy.
Yeah.
Yes. I tell you what, too, I was surprised as he goes over 150 yards for the game. I was surprised the first time I had the opportunity to meet him in person. He's a lot bigger than I thought he would be.
I haven't seen
for
him.
as quick as he is, he's a stout young man.
Yeah. I think it was a little bit of a surprise to the coaching staff, and mostly the middle school
surprise
coaches. You know, were like, we really never saw that. So, you know, and unfortunately, you know, some of these players maybe weren't eligible. You know, I have no idea about him, but you know, I've seen that before where the middle school players, they weren't eligible for whatever reason, and then they get to high school, they get their act together, and then all of a sudden, like, hey, where'd this guy come from? So, and AAU football has helped with that. You know, Pop Warner, there's weight limits, and a lot of the kids don't get to play because they're just, you know, they're too big. Well, football is a game where big is usually a positive.
Well, it is, but even then, still, depending upon the situation, the middle schools, I don't know about West, but I know that Sanley, 6th graders generally aren't allowed to play football.
It's a state
so
law.
You've got that sort of gap year, and for your kids that are, you know, a little bit oversized, they're stuck, they can't do the Pop Warner thing, unless the families are willing and able to make the, you know, the enormous investment to do the AAU thing. So it's interesting. It is interesting.
And you're really only getting 2 years at middle school. And really, when you're a 7th grader, you're not going to play a lot because there's a big difference between a 14-year-old kid and a 13-year-old kid.
Well, and that's the thing I was going to say, too, and you know better than anybody right now, you're going through it. What a kid looks like when they're in 5th grade and what they look like in 8th grade is two entirely different animals. And you don't know which of those kids are going to grow into that frame. And
that's exactly right. That's where they really become what they are.
Yeah.
You know, when they're 10, 11, a lot of them are about the same size. Some of them are a little more, you know, gifted at whatever, but when they get into that middle school, that's when you really start seeing what type of player they are.
All right, Southern fields the kick at about 35-yard line, 2.5 minutes left, and I think this squad going to try to push the ball down the field, but you cannot let Lee County's offense back out on the field before the half.
And, again, we need to get a first down. You know, I'm kind of surprised that we're not seeing to Noah. It doesn't have to be a 50-yard pass down the field. You know, get him the ball, quick screens, you know, out in the flat, 5-yard hitch. You know, look, the cornerback's almost 8 yards. Now he's coming up a little bit. He's 10 yards off when the ball snapped.
Tay Flack in the game. Hands up the middle, going nowhere. And that'll be 2nd and 10. Clock down inside 2.5 minutes. And Tay Flack, the senior quarterback in there, I hope is mindful. Let this clock run. Be in no hurry. You know, if you get a first down, that changes things a little bit, but you cannot let this Lee County offense back onto the field again. All right, from the gun, we haven't seen much of an option look from Flack yet, and that's a little surprising. May have something to do with the fact they don't feel like they can seal the edge going either direction. All right, Flack going to keep it going right up the middle, picking his way, has a first down out near midfield. Now your perspective changes a little bit.
Well, that takes the timeouts. I'm not sure how many timeouts Lee County has, but, you know, they were ready to burn one right there if he would have gotten tackled. But that first down now changes things, and lets that clock run a little bit.
All right, inside 140, and a little bit of urgency here from the Cavaliers. You know, if you can get a score here, Cavaliers do get the ball to start the second half, so don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but Southern Lee could make this thing interesting. Flack going to keep it again, picking his way. Gets about 3, 2nd and 7 coming up. Clock inside 118 and continuing to move.
Again, north and south. Take away some of the speed. You know, running laterally against this team is not going to be effective.
Not 100% sure what they're doing here. Cavaliers, Flag gets up clapping his hands. Clock continues to run inside a minute. This time he's going to hand to Matthew. No, he's going to pitch, and the ball's out, and the ball is picked up by – see who comes out of there. They're fighting, and I think the Jackets have got that. No, they're going to give it back to Southern after a big loss. Going to bring a 3rd and about 17. Bullet dodge there.
Tie goes to the runner there.
Yeah, fortuitous final bounce there after some bad luck. Clock inside 25. A little surprised Lee County's not using a timeout here, but they may feel like they've done enough and just want to get on in.
After that, Southern Lee's going to say, let's go to halftime.
Well, 3rd and a mile here. Doesn't look like Flack's even going to snap the ball. No, he's going to snap it.
Throw it deep.
Looking to throw it down. Dodges a dodges a man, throws it down the right sideline. Lockley goes up, and as has been the case all evening, unable to make a play on the ball. And that will bring us to double zeros here at the end of the first half, as the Yellow Jackets of Lee County have jumped out 26-0 on Southern Lee on a night where not much has gone right for the Cavaliers. We will be back in a brief moment to recap the first half of football, talk about what we can see in the second. You're watching the Classic Nissan Game of the Week on WBFT, Channel 46 in Sanford, North Carolina, and around the world on the NFHS network.
If something is worth doing, it's worth doing right. In this case, it's worth doing right and left. Introducing the all-new buttermilk and hand-breaded Southern Sweet and Smoky and Southern TLC chicken sandwiches. One has sweet pickles, shredded lettuce, smoky backyard sauce, and a potato bun. The other is an undeniable classic with lettuce, tomato, and mayo. Zaxby's. Friends. Family. Flavor. Order ahead on Zaxby's.com or use our app to skip the wait.
It's game day at Classic Nissan.
I'm Mike Stozer, General Manager at Classic Nissan here at Sanford. My team of professionals have every position covered to meet all of your automotive needs.
The starting lineup. Your captains on offense, number 5, Holden Cruz. And number 10, Jasmine Dole. Your captains on defense, number 55, Wesley Tater Womack. Number 7, Steve Dandrin. Whether you're a Yellow Jacket or a Cavalier, everybody gets a classic deal. For sales, service, or parts, visit us at ClassicNissanSanford.com or in person on Highway 87, right across from Walmart in Sanford.
Nobody beats a classic deal.
Official Caro sponsor.
Are you ready to sell or buy? Call me, Crystal Copas, to assist you with that real estate transaction. Residential, commercial, or investment properties? With the RE/MAX brand and my highly efficient team, I'm your go-to girl with all the things in real estate.
We just love our new house in Broadway.
And it was made possible by Crystal Copas, who sold our previous home in only 3 days. And I promise you, she'll work just as hard for you.
For online banking made easy, there's only one choice, First Bank. Online banking, checking accounts for business and family to fit every need, including mobile banking, no-fee traveler's checks and money orders, and so much more. First Bank is conveniently located on Spring Lane, South Corner, and Sanford, and North Main and Broadway. First Bank is your progressive community bank.
Hi, I'm David Bashir. Here at First Bank, I feel like we've got all the right people in the right place to serve your banking needs now and in the future.
For decades, residents of Lee County have trusted First Health of the Carolinas to provide quality health care to the Sandhills region. First Health is excited to expand services offered in Lee County with the opening of the new First Health Lee campus located at 2919 Beech Tree Drive in Sanford. The newest First Health campus includes a 25,000 square foot fitness center with an indoor walking track, saltwater pool, weight area, cardio equipment, Les Mills group exercise classes, and so much more. Also offered within the fitness center are physical therapy and cardiac rehabilitation services. The 40,000 square foot medical office building includes a primary care practice, convenient care, outpatient imaging and laboratory services, back and neck pain, and a variety of surgical specialties. For more information about the new First Health Lee campus, visit our website at www.firsthealth.org or call 1-800-213-3284.
Shop our inventory online at
us1cdj.com.
All my sales, service, and finance has been done here at US One. They are great guys to work with.
And I can honestly say that in every aspect of the process, I was included, I was respected, and I would highly recommend coming to give them a try.
I have shopped US One for over 20 years. Ranger Happy and I enjoy it, and we love this place.
Real prices, real people. Get the real deal
at US One.
Pat McCracken is a small business owner who wants to see Sanford continue to grow. Strong schools are the key for that to happen.
I've been in education for over 28 years as a teacher, a coach, a test coordinator, an administrator, and an athletic advisor. I want to make sure I pique the students' interest academically, athletically, technologically, and artistically. Vote for me for the Lee County Board of Education.
Paid for by the committee to elect Pat McCracken Lee County School Board. US One Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep presents Halftime Report on WBFT.
All right, welcome to the US One Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep halftime show. DeLambert, Phillip, Chappell, we were all fired up. We're having a heck of a ball game. Conference championship, 26-0 Yellow Jackets. It's been all Yellow Jackets so far. What's the problem?
Well, it's been poor execution, really, on mainly on one side of the ball. Southern Lee really has made some critical errors, penalties when they've had Lee County stopped or just added to get them out of. Lee County's been deep a couple times, got them out of there, get their momentum, gave them first downs. Penalties can add to a lot of things, but those first downs, moving the chains, it's a fresh start. So, schematically, could we do a little more? We'll see. We'll see what Southern Lee comes out with in the second half and see what they can do. But right now they've become one-dimensional essentially, and that's not a good match when you have a defensive line like Lee County.
Oh, they have. And you say that one-dimensional right up until the half when they started running straight out of the quarterback, right. Out of the Wildcat with Tay Flack. Up until that, they had decided just try to push the ball down the seam with no success. Almost smacked of a team that had panicked a little bit.
Yeah.
Came out, and it was a kind of polar opposites what they started with. Came out in the eye, something we hadn't seen before to start the game. And when that didn't work, one series, gave up on that, and then started trying to push the ball down the field. I'd like to see them get more creative in trying to get the ball into Lockley and Flack's hands. Those are their playmakers. On defense, the effort's been okay. They've lost the field position battle, and we talked about the fact Lee County's going to give you some penalties. Well, Southern's giving them right back, plus a little bit on top of that. So it's been a tough go. Tough all the way around for Southern. This has been the US One Chrysler Dodge Jeep halftime show with Chris DeLambert, Phillip Chappell. We will take you down to the field for the second half kickoff. 26-0 Yellow Jackets.
Shop our inventory online at us1cdj.com.
All my sales, service, and finance has been done here at US One. They are great guys to work with.
And I can honestly say that in every aspect of the process, I was included, I was respected, and I would highly recommend coming to give them a try.
I have shopped US One for over 20 years. Ranger Happy and I enjoy it, and we love this place.
Real prices, real people. Get the real deal
at US One.
And we've seen all manner of non-traditional kickoffs here from Lee County. And for those Yellow Jacket fans that are watching at home that are hoping it continues to go this way, so that North Carolina High School Athletic Association rules say a 40-point lead means running clock. So if the Yellow Jackets tack on a couple of touchdowns here, the clock will continue to run. That'll be yet another penalty on the Yellow Jackets. Procedures, the kickoff goes out of bounds. And we'll set Southern Lee up with good field position at the 30-yard line.
I want to think that, part of the game plan after they went to the short passing game and started to throw the ball majority of the time, they were behind. But I think they feel confident that they can come out and execute the quick passes, slow down the pass rush, move the chains that way. And they did to some extent. They got deep in the Lee County territory one time and, had a bad execution on fourth and short, but it looks like Tay Flack is is that Thomas?
That's Tay Flack split all the way down here to the near side on the boundary. Lee County going to send a second DB over there to pay attention to him. Harrington still in at quarterback, and the hand is up the middle. And that is Nick Locklear on the carry. He's going to get positive yardage. About 5 on the play. So, every football game comes down to about 5 plays. And we saw in that first half, the scoreboard says 26-0. Southern put 2 touchdown passes on the ground, one of which was a certain touchdown. The other one probably would have been had Lockley been able to haul it in. There's a run. That one's going nowhere. You're not going to get away with that 2 times in a row as they lose almost all of the 5 they picked up on first down. 3rd and long coming up.
We also haven't talked about turnovers. I mean, fumble inside your 10-yard line, that didn't help.
Yeah.
And then also an interception that gave them good field position. I think they went on to score after that.
They did, and then you compound that with the fact that Southern gave 3 first downs that were converted by penalty.
And
tough.
Time of possession. We talked about the short having to play both ways, and when you start running that time of possession where you're not on offense, I don't know if people understand this, but when you play offense, it's not as physically exerting unless you're a wide receiver. You're going on your routes and such. But on defense, you're having to chase that ball every time, and so when your players are on defense the majority of the half, that's going to wear on you more so than if you would have had the time of possession advantage.
Dalmaz Jennings got his hand on that, and we'll bring up 4th down.
So they had a penalty, but they waved it off.
They waved it off, so it should be 4th down. Punt team comes out for Southern, and needed a strike to get some momentum going that way, and just didn't materialize. So 4th and long coming up. Jackets get the ball back. Tim Lett back at his own 25.
Back to receive for the Jackets, number 8, Timmy Lett.
First punt of the night for Southern, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think they had one early because I was worried that they might fake it.
Oh, my gosh. It took forever getting that out of there. Yeah. It's going to get a bounce sideways.
Oh, that's unnecessary right there.
Get a little chippy out there. These guys have known each other since they were 5 and 6 years old, and bragging rights in Lee County are a big deal. Southern, after about the first 12 years of the school's existence, had never won a Brick City Bowl and then ran off 3 straight before dropping one this past season. And unless something shifts dramatically, they're going to drop 2 in a row here.
Yeah.
And these kids know the score. They know what's going on.
Well, again, it's got to start with the defense, I think. I think we've got to get a turnover. We've got to get, some type of mistake on Lee County's, side of the ball. They've got to get that ball out, strip it out, do everything you can to get the field advantage and, get the momentum going your way a little bit.
Well, you're about to get a healthy dose of A.J. Boulware here in this second half. I'm sure Southern knows it's coming up. And there's the freshman, McClendon, who breaks a tackle, prevents a big loss, or McLaughlin, rather.
Yeah, it's McKendall.
Yeah, my fault.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been a 15, 18-yard, 5 or 8 yard loss, and he gets back to the chains. Gets back to 10 yards.
All right, 2nd and 10 coming.
For whatever reason, it seems like AJ's bigger runs have come when he's on the left side of Colin, running left to right. Seems to be maybe an advantage on the right side of the offensive line for Lee County.
Bad snap there for the Jackets. Johnson picks it up, going to take a huge loss. Back about 15 yards inside his own 20. And Southern needed a big play. They didn't make that one, but they are the recipients of a gift from this Yellow Jacket team. That'll be 3rd and a mile, and I'm sure that Lee County didn't want to throw the ball much in this second half. Now they're all of a sudden passing down. Be interested to see what the play call is here. 9:22 left in the 3rd quarter. Jackets up 26-0, facing 3rd and about 25.
Yeah, you have to think a screen or a draw, one of those 2 plays.
All right, McClendon in motion. Boulware around the left side. Can't get around the edge. Picks up about 7, which is a whole lot less than they needed. And the punt team will come out for the Jackets.
it's important for Lee County to keep their focus. I mean, they're up big, and, it's really easy to do to lose your focus, not have the same intensity, but, stop looking at the clock and just execute. Just do what you've been doing. Hope the players are okay over there.
All right, on the far side of the field, there's a Cavalier player down while the staff tends to him. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Nissan Classic Game of the Week on WBFT, Channel 46 in Sanford, North Carolina, and around the world on the NFHS network.
Shop our inventory online at us1cdj.com.
All my sales, service, and finance has been done here at US One. They are great guys to work with.
And I can honestly say that in every aspect of the process, I was included, I was respected, and I would highly recommend coming to give them a try.
I have shopped US One for over 20 years. Ranger Happy and I enjoy it, and we love this place. Real prices, real people. Get the real deal
at US One.
All right, welcome back to the Classic Nissan Game of the Week. Anthony Matthews was the Cavalier that was down. Runs off. Doesn't even appear to have a hitch in his giddy-up. I think he's going to be okay. 4th and 17 here for the Yellow Jackets. Looks like they'll punt it away. To Noah Lockley, who is back deep. And I'm gonna tell you something. I know to Noah a little bit. He is going to be looking to make a play. Well, that's not even close enough. I was going to say, if he can get to that ball before it hits the ground, he's going to run up there and make a play. Got to be chomping at the bit. That's a proud young man who is used to success, had a rough first half. At some point, he is going to do something spectacular here in this second half. All right, 8:21 clock stopped. Thomas Harrington still at the quarterback spot. Got a bunch of receivers down here near side.
It was a good miss by the punter there. I've heard that term a few times in my golfing days, but okay, kick it out of bounds. That's not a bad thing.
All right, Harrington takes a snap, rolls,
there it
has
is.
a man wide open. How do you let him get behind the defense like that? Fighting, breaking tackles, drags the tackler all the way down to the 24-yard line. That's Elijah Brown, one of those athletes that Southern tracks out there. And busted coverage there for the Jackets.
Well, that's probably one of the first passes that they've thrown to someone other than to Noah. And, when you go in that trips look, that's tough for any defense to really keep their, when playing his own defense, make sure everybody has the right responsibilities, and he just slipped out there in the flat.
Well, they liked it so much they're going to do it to the other side. I'm a side, bubble screen coming here. Nope.
Same play. Opposite
Running the
side.
other way.
Yep.
Oof. EJ Fox taken down there with a nice open field tackle. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. There's a flag on the play.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, that was the same play, just the other way. Flip it.
At time, Jackets had coverage downfield. Harrington got it in there to Fox, who was stopped abruptly on a nice play out there on the edge.
I tell you, the white hat has not been slow to signal. Sportsmanlike.
He has. Evans went off the field initially, immediately following that play. Not clear on who that was on, but Evans went out, came back in. That's going to be a first down for the Cavaliers. And, I'd really like clarification, but none is forthcoming.
That'll be a full 15 yards right there.
All right, ball will be spotted just outside the 10-yard line. Just outside the 10. All right, so the Cavaliers trying to strike here, chip away at this lead. Harrington hands, and the ball carrier goes nowhere.
It's one thing I noticed is I don't see a lot of variance in the count. It seems like very consistent. Looks like it's pretty easy to read when the ball snapped, and that's not going to help because that's going to allow the Lee County defensive line to really fly off the ball, get up the field. You don't see any twos. You don't see any delayed counts.
All right, Harrington rolls outside, throws it near the back of the end zone and over everybody. Nice effort there by Elijah Brown, but it was going to be out of bounds anyway. So 3rd and 13 coming up here. And what looked to be a very promising drive now has kind of reached critical mass.
Yeah, you're seeing Southern Lee making one adjustment. They're getting Thomas outside of the pocket. They're rolling him out, sprinting him out left, sprinting him out right. That helps. Makes it's easier to block as an offensive lineman. You know, basically you block one side, take the, step hard left and let him go right. Watch it.
Whoa, you got to get rid of it. Desmond Evans with a huge sack all the way back at the 28-yard line. And at some point you just got to get rid of it. What you say, though, is, yes, it's easier to block. However, it's also easier to cover because you're eliminating half the field.
Right, yeah.
And that's what they're running up against there now. Now that Lee County's seen it a couple of times, they're dropping coverage on the other side. And
yeah, your passes have to be quick and accurate. And they're basically playing a zone coverage, so you've got to find those holes.
All right, 4th and 25. Cavaliers could still get a first down at about the 4-yard line. 6:25 left in the third quarter. This may be the ball game.
Blitz.
Harrington drops, lofts it out there. He's got a man in double coverage, looking for a flag. None is coming as he was trying to find Tate. Flack really just hung it out there and gave Flack a chance to make a play, unable to come down with it, but that's probably as good as you could have hoped for in that situation. 4th and a mile. Instead, Yellow Jackets going the other way.
Lee County brought a zone blitz there, dropped Dez in the coverage, and brought a linebacker, which added pressure.
All right, Yellow Jackets haven't got untracked offensively here yet in the second half.
Looks like they got some white uniforms out there, so some of the younger players maybe getting in. Big offensive tackle, Jamal Wilson, now in the game at right tackle. This shiny white uniform.
There's Bullware into the secondary. Nice job to drag him down after about a 5-yard gain by Caleb Medlock. But the Yellow Jackets looking to work clock, take the air out of the football.
One thing you'll notice when AJ runs the ball is how fast he hits the hole. That's something that when we coach youth football, it can take forever for a quarterback to get the ball and then hand the ball off. And by the time you've actually, got to the line of scrimmage, the defensive line may be already into your backfield. With him, it hits so fast, and it's kind of one of those things like you mentioned that, if he hits the right gap, man, it just blows right by the linebacker.
All right, a holding call in the backfield there. That'll march the Yellow Jackets back. And, my grandfather used to invoke Woody Hayes and tell me that when you throw the ball, there's only 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. A little surprised to see the Jackets throwing the ball there at this stage of the ball game, but, Coach Perdue gets paid for this and does a pretty good job.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's confident in his defense from what they've done tonight. He's like, hey, even if we turn it over, I feel confident I can run my defense out there and hold them.
And the way they played tonight, it's all right to be fearless. I mean, they have had their backs against the wall a couple of times, and every time they have answered the call and come away with positive plays. All right, Colin Johnson bargain out signal, 2nd and 18 coming up here. Bullware still in the backfield. Fakes, now throws the screen, and I tell you what, there's one thing to play fearless. Be careful there. That's an ill-advised throw by Johnson. And E.J. Fox kicking himself. That'll be another one of those that these players, when they pull this tape apart, look and say, you know what, we were that close.
And unfortunately, there's games like that.
Yeah.
I've sat through those film sessions and said, look, the missed opportunities that we had. And like you said, going into this game, Southern Lee needed to take advantage of every one of those opportunities.
Well, and to be frank with you, as nice as it would have been to finish the conference season undefeated, and to have a conference championship where, the football that really counts is about to start. Looking for Tim Lett down the left side. That's the first time he's gone to Lett all night, and Lett dove just so he could get that uniform dirty. You saw that, right?
Yes.
All right, so 4th down, the Yellow Jackets will punt. But, the football that really counts is when the state playoffs open up. And for this Cavalier team to get beaten, you look at the score and you're like, But you know what? When you pull that tape apart as a staff, you can demonstrate to those kids, look, this is an undefeated, about to go to 10-0 team here from Lee County. And you guys really pushed them.
And have beaten several 4A teams, if I'm not mistaken. And so, they can learn from this. They'll build off of this. This will help Southern Lee get better. They've had a little momentum getting some wins and, throughout the conference play. They can look at this and say, hey, we were this close. If we make this play, if we don't turn the ball over here, whatever, however you want to look at it, penalties shows the importance of that, the effect it can have on the momentum of the game. That's what we saw. A 5-yard penalty turned into a 65-yard touchdown the next play.
Yeah. All right, so Southern with good field position here. Take over after a very short punt at their own 30. Clock becoming a factor. Harrington takes the snap, fakes to Locklear, is going to roll. Throws it down the field and looking for Fox, looking for Flack rather, unable to find him. Instead, finds a Yellow Jacket defender, and it's Jaden Chalmers, who's had a nice night on defense with the pick.
So is that 3 turnovers?
Yes, sir.
Plus 3.
Plus 3.
Yeah, however you want to look at it. Yeah, just the way the play starts is too slow for me. Southern Lee needs to play with tempo. They need to get things going, get it going fast, cut the playbook down to 5 plays, and just go with that quick. Because Lee County, they're going to play a little softer, get the ball moving, get it going fast, and it's a little too slow for my liking.
All right, same score with 5 minutes left in the half as it was as we went to halftime. Looks like Larry Baldwin's checked in there at tailback for the Cavaliers. Gets his first carry of the night, or for the Yellow Jackets rather. Gets his first carry of the night. Been doing duty over there.
Yeah,
as
early in the season,
linebacker.
They both had big games early in the season, right?
Baldwin has had a couple of good games, but Baldwin is the starting linebacker on this defense and really one of the anchors there, so they don't burn him up very often. But if Boulware needs to be spelled, that's the guy they'll go to, and when they go to a 2-back set, they'll bring Baldwin in there and leave Boulware in, which is what they're doing here, and Baldwin gives you a little bit different dynamic. His same type runner in that he's going to hit the hole quickly. Not near as quick, but he'll thump you a little bit harder. Baldwin, a good hard runner that I like to watch. I like to watch play football, period.
Oh, yeah.
And have for a couple of years now. Junior running back, linebacker who kind of gets lost in the mix when you start looking at these Yellow Jacket athletes. But just a really good football player.
You can look at Lee County's formation. Look how wide they are. I mean, they are from one side of the field to the other. And they're purposely designed, and you have nothing in the middle. There's no safety in the middle of the field.
Well, that went nowhere, and that'll bring up 4th down. As the Southern Lee defense has made a statement here in the second half, they're
doing their part.
They're playing for keeps.
Yeah. And again, that's where that tempo comes in. If the offense can get going, get clicking, get some first downs, get Lee County's defense winded just a little bit, they'll have more success.
All right, I've asked the question a couple of times, why didn't they come after it? Looks like Cavaliers are coming after this punt. And it's over the top. That'll be a safety. And the Cavaliers are going to crack the scoreboard for the first time tonight. All right, 26-2 with 3:06 left in the third quarter. And the Cavaliers should be getting good field position to get this thing back. That never looked good. That was a
deep fly ball right there.
Yeah, no fault on the punter that time. The long snapper put it. I don't know if Des Evans could have caught that one.
Yeah, if you're going to miss low.
All right, we'll take a quick break and be back as Southern is on the board in the Classic Nissan Game of the Week.
We all want more time with our dads, brothers, partners, friends, and our sons. Time for more conversations, more catch-ups, more of what life's all about. Now is our time to make it happen. Together, we can stop men dying too young by tackling the big issues: prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, suicide. It's time to act. Sign up at Movember.com and raise funds to help change the face of men's health.
All right, all year long, we've been heaping praise on the Southern Lee PA announcer and DJ, Big Don Clayton. Yeah. Cha-cha slide, man, come on, dude. I don't know. Got to work on that. All right, Lee County giving up the safety, now kicks. Ball put on the ground again by Southern Lee, who has had a horrible time on kickoff return all evening. Player wrestled out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. And the Southern Lee offense got about 15 minutes of football left. Play with a little tempo, play with a little urgency. I'm with you, and I want to make sure the folks at home understand. When you talk about urgency and tempo, there's two things here. First of all, getting the plays in and out, getting in and out of the plays, up to the line, doing your thing. But the second thing, that ball's got to come out quicker.
Quick.
You know the strongest part of a very good football team tonight, Lee County, is that defensive line.
Absolutely.
Quit playing with it. Get it out of there. Oh, gosh, and the ball's out. I think they whistled it dead prematurely, and they're going to luck out here, call the runner down. I don't think the runner that was down ever had control of that football, so Southern catches a break on a bad call by the official who made that call from behind the play, but Cavalier fans won't be upset about it.
Well, you know, in college football, you see a lot of tendencies. You see teams when something's effective, let's say Oregon, the RPO, you see it replicated across. And then one thing, shotgun pistol formation, that's been a common thing. Wow. Now it's getting a little ridiculous now. But tempo, you watch UCF play. Nebraska's trying to implement that. Scott Frost. I watched him play the other night, and I'm telling you what, it blows my mind how they even call the plays.
UCF? Yeah, there's something else.
Man, it is amazing. I mean, they're ready to go before the ball's even spotted. They've already got the play. Everybody's on the same page. No checking. We're going to run what we're going to run. And it's amazing to watch. So, to implement it at this level is hard just because you don't get the same amount of practice time. But, that's the premise with what you need to do. You need to keep the playbook simple and go fast.
Well, Flack on 3rd and a mile is going to keep it. That was a horrible series for Southern. And the last thing they needed as we cook down here to the end of the third quarter. The offense for Southern tonight seemed a little schizophrenic. They haven't really decided what they wanted to be tonight and what they wanted to do. And with the exception of a big catch and run by Tanoa Lockley, followed by a 15-yard penalty that netted about 45 on the play, really hasn't moved the ball at all. And I know that the entire staff, the entire team is going to be disappointed. And Lee County's, boy, I tell you what, look at them. The starter's pistol, they're coming after that thing. Oh, and almost got it. Kick is out. Nice high-hanging punt. Takes a nice Cavalier bounce. Going to get down inside the 22, 23-yard line. So on a night where a lot has gone badly, that was a nice punt there for Southern. You take your praise where you can get it, your good things.
Well, I think to your point, Southern Lee, what they're searching. You can tell they're searching.
They are.
They're trying to, how do we defeat this defensive line? And that's really what you're seeing. The secondary has done a great job for Lee County. Jaden Chalmers has had a great game. So they've done their part also. So, it's one of those things where when I've talked to people and I've watched Lee County play, a lot of the praise goes to the running back, A.J. Boulware, the yards, the stats. But that defense has held teams
Absolutely.
all year. So
Absolutely.
there's a lot about that.
All right, Bullware takes the pitch. Out left side fighting. God, he runs hard. He'll pick up 3 or 4 on the play. Clock running inside a minute left in the quarter. You know, that's kind of been the story of his season is he'll have a nice run, nice run, nice run, stop, nice run, boom.
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen tonight. He's still searching.
Yeah, I'd love to know what his 40 time is because he runs hard.
There are an awful lot of coaching staffs here in the state of North Carolina and beyond that will be wanting to know what his 40 time is here shortly. Oof, almost had one there as he picks up the first down.
And it's like he's accelerating. Like when he sees daylight, man, he gets faster.
Well,
and it's just like
it's funny in a day and age where more and more running backs are employing that Le'Veon Bell style where they want to dance, and you forget, you know, the great running backs throughout history. We talked on the air from the Chief Seats this past week about Terrell Davis and how he was the exact opposite running back as Le'Veon Bell, but it's the same situation when you look back. Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith, you know, you comparing one to the other, you're talking about a completely different offense, completely different style. You know, you put Lev Bell in that Denver offense back in the day, he'd never gotten on the field.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. All right, so we're on to the fourth quarter. We'll take a quick break, come back, and finish this thing up. Southern trying to find themselves a miracle.
If something is worth doing, it's worth doing right. In this case, it's worth doing right and left. Introducing the all-new buttermilk and hand-breaded Southern Sweet and Smoky and Southern TLC chicken sandwiches. One has sweet pickles, shredded lettuce, smoky backyard sauce, and a potato bun. The other is an undeniable classic with lettuce, tomato, and mayo. Zaxby's. Friends. Family. Flavor. Order ahead on Zaxby's.com or use our app to skip the wait.
All right, welcome back to the Nissan Classic. Game of the week, the Brick City Bowl. All right, Colin Johnson hasn't been able to hit that seam throw all night.
He's just been high, just overthrown everything.
And Tim Lett at some point is going to go back and tell him, dude, I've been running down the field all day. I've been blocking in the running game. I've been back there on punt return teams. Get me at least one catch. Just one catch. I got to get in the book. All right. 2nd and 10 coming up for Johnson and that Yellow Jacket offense. But we're back in the backfield by himself. Stopped in the backfield, wrapped up nicely on the play by Cedric Douglas, who's had a nice ball game.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about here. You can see how wide AJ gets set up before the play. It's almost it could be a giveaway that, hey, they're going to run the counter, bring a guard around, trap, and Southern Lee's had that all night long. The ones that have worked the best are the ones where he's hit quicker, hitting inside zone, no guards pulling, no linemen coming around, and it just hits north and south. And that's kind of what this formation looks like right here.
3rd and 13. A-gap pressure coming from the Cavs. Ball is caught. Jordan Graves with the first down and more as he picks up 22 down to the Cavalier 45-yard line.
That is what they're going to need in the playoffs. They're going to need to be able to take that because teams are going to key on number 4. They're going to try and take him out of the game and show me that you can do something else. That is a perfect little play. Southern Lee brought a blitz. They went right where the blitz came from, just a quick slant, and big result, big first down.
Of all of the things that you see in high school football with the bubble screens and the jet sweeps and all of that, I've never understood why you don't see more teams. Whoa, A.J. Bullware, look at that. Man. Stopped in the backfield, but no. Turns on the Jets, gets 18. Down to the 27.
And it just looks so natural.
Yeah,
I mean, he plants that foot, and then he is north and south. There's not jockeying back and forth. When he decides to turn it up, he is turbo.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Jackets. Johnson Looking for a man down the right sideline. It comes up empty.
Colin has a quick release. From what I see, it's almost like he just needs to put a little more touch on it.
Well, throws a nice looking
football. Yeah, it's a beautiful ball. That way, on that play, he had pressure.
Yep.
He had somebody in his face. He kind of threw off his back foot, but that's one of those ones, good placement, but just a little more touch on it versus just so quick and just boom, firing it out there.
Well, Jacket fans will see him do it again next year.
Yep.
All right, Johnson, that little pitch to Boulware. Runs into traffic, chased down by Caleb Medlock, and a couple of penalties, 3 flags on the play. All right. Let's see what we got going on. Holding on the Jackets. That's interesting that they've been huddling all night, and this time without consulting with the other 2 officials that threw flags. The Whitehead went ahead and made the holding call.
That was his call. He's the one that threw that flag. So we got to find out what the other flags are. I think one of them was a late hit or unsportsmanlike. So this could be offsetting, or it could be one of those double whammies that we've seen for a 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, Steve McKinney down there pleading his case. He doesn't look real excited about the outcome. There's a hold. And a dead ball personal foul. So you're about to get – that's 3 times tonight. We're going to get them both marked off against one team.
Yep.
I can't remember the last time I've seen that more than once in a game, and now we get 3 of them. So you're going from 2nd and 10. They're going to take both penalties, so we'll replay 2nd down, but now you're going to have 2nd and 35.
Man. If you can't hear the sound effect.
Oh, Don, you're killing me.
Up.
You are killing me.
That was funny.
All right, 2nd and 35 coming for the Jackets. They're all the way back across midfield. 10.5 minutes to go in the ball game. Up 26-2. So technically, only up 3 scores.
I give it a 4.
Yeah, you got to be awful perfect. All right, here we go. I'm gonna tell you, my play call doesn't change. I hand it into the belly with Boulware twice.
Play action here.
Yep. No fakes. Johnson's gonna keep it. That's surprising, and that's going backwards. It'll be 3rd and 38.
Here's what's amazing: Southern Lee blitz. I mean, they brought 6.
Boulware wasn't touched going through the hole, and instead Johnson. And I'm convinced. Here's the thing: there's a lot of things that I could do athletically on a field or court during the course of my life. Brandon Atkins and I, who host From the Cheap Seats, you can hear us on every Wednesday. Download the podcast on the radio or find us on the radio, whatever the case might be. But here's the thing. We agree that between us, we would be incapable of running the RPO. I'm convinced at the high school level, these guys are not actually running the RPO.
No,
it's pre-snap, and it just looks like the RPO.
Right.
But they already know where it's going because I don't see at 17 years old how I could possibly process that much information.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost one of those things when you see a well-executed basketball offensive team, and it's like, man, how did that guy get open? Like, well, he came off of 2 screens. Like, it took a lot of things to get to there. When you see a well-oiled RPO offense, there's so many keys. And then all of a sudden, boom, he looks like he's running, and then he throws it, and it's fun to watch when it's executed. But you're right. This is pretty much a predetermined, here, give it, keep it, throw it, one of those type of things.
All right, ball rolls dead at the 15. Nice punt there. Flip field position a little bit. 9:05, Southern running out of chances here. And what are we going to do? Is Tay Flack coming in to play quarterback? Looks like it. Yes, he is. Thomas Harrington will remain on the sideline. Flack is in. Be interested to see what comes out of this set. They stay spread. Flack hands into the belly, and this is surprising. Clock inside 9 minutes. And Tay Flack is an awesome athlete, and Tay Flack adds a dynamic to the offense that Harrington doesn't have. But if you're going to do that, you're going to have to get him out on the edge. You can't afford to dink and dunk and run belly plays for 2 and 3 yards at a time. They pick up a yard on there and lose a minute of clock.
This is where you want to run the RPO. You want to fake the dive, sprint him out, and throw it over the top.
Now Flack's scrambling, going to keep it, and all of that, and he'll pick up 2.
Yeah.
So 8:27, clock stopped. 3rd down coming up, 3rd and 6.
Pick up a 5 yards on the play, 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, and quick hitches again. Just boom. Hitch it up, 5-yard pass. Looks like Tanoa's not in there, is he?
Tanoa's on the near side, on the boundary.
Oh, there he is.
Flack looking the other way. Gets it out quickly. Trying to cut back. Is that E.J. Fox on the reception? That's a long way away from here. It is. Fox on the reception loses a few, and that's going to bring up 4th and 9, and the punt team comes out from Southern. Not really excited, and I don't think anybody will be when they watch that on film with that series. And the play calls nor the execution. And I think the reality of what's going on is sunk in, and a lot of people are starting to head for the exits. It's been a good ball game that really just kind of swung on a couple of plays.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, a few penalties and a few turnovers.
And Southern has shown what kind of defense they can play in the second half. Lee County hadn't done anything. They haven't even threatened to score. All right, punt is out. Flag. See if we're going to get running into the kicker or roughing.
He didn't go to the ground, so I would say running into the kicker. Looked like he was close to getting a piece of it.
Of course, it could be a hold back there, too. And come on, guys.
Another constitution.
This is a binary situation. It's either or. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Which side? Gray, white? It's on them. Looks like it's 15. That'll be automatic first down if that's the case.
They are. No, they're gone now. Now they tell them it's a 5. Well, the question is now they're running the offense back out there. If it's the 5-yard penalty, it's going to bring up 4th and 3.
Yeah.
You got 7.5 minutes left. Do you really kick this? Don Clayton is I mean he's holding class over there.
He's got a voice
in the crowd what the difference is. All right, you got a 5-yard penalty. They're going to kick it again. It looks You've got some options here.
This is where you want your referees to manage the game. Let's go. Make a decision. Get it right.
Well,
look where the ball is.
Well, and the referee just walked that off a little incorrectly. I think he started from the wrong spot. Bless his heart.
Yeah, it should have been a lot closer, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should have. And Southern has elected to re-kick. All right, here it comes. Kick is out, much shorter this time, straight up into the air. I'm going to take a bounce and come dead at about the 46-yard line. And with 7:01 left, this has gotten the referees have lost control of this game.
Yeah, you need to. That's why you need to take control. You need to get it clean, get it quick. Move this thing along. Now he's arguing with the referee. Keep your composure here.
Well, it's Sean McLaughlin, who is one of the seniors honored at senior night. Got to be a frustrating night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to be frustrating, but you got to keep your composure.
Yeah, and that's where your leaders on your team need to come up.
And you cannot afford to get tossed from this and get suspended for the following game. They've still got football. They still got football to play that matters out here.
Yeah, I think there is a flag. Could have used that a lot tonight.
This is, I tell you, I'm very disappointed. We laugh about the officials all the time. This has been a badly officiated game.
Well, and usually my complaint is about the calls themselves. Tonight, they've done a good job. They've called the calls that I think are there. They haven't thrown crazy calls or penalties that had no effect on the play.
So after all that, it's a personal foul against Lee County. Question is whether it was dead ball. So they're going to call it a dead ball penalty. So the punt rolled dead at the 47. They're going to enforce from there, which will back it up, presumably to the 38-yard line.
Net 48-yard punt. I'm just kidding.
With 7:01 left in the ball game, Lee County up 26-2. The offense has been anemic for the Jackets in the second half, which has got to be a little bit of a source of concern as they move into the playoffs. Now, and I don't want anybody watching this to think that I have looked past. Lee County does have one more regular season ball game left. It is customary for Lee County and Southern Lee to play each other in the final week of the season. West Carteret and Lee County will make up their game on November 7th, I think. Or is it November? I don't even know. They will make up that game before the playoffs start in that weekend. So next weekend they have West Carteret. Southern Lee was unable to reschedule their game that they missed because of the storm. So they are done for the regular season and will sit at home waiting on the playoff seedings to be released and figure out where they're going.
So let's talk about that. So
sure.
I think last year did the North Carolina High School Association, did they not use a little bit of different format? They used more of an emphasis on the Max Preps seed rankings to help with the seeding. Am I correct?
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Okay. Because in the past, it was solely based on your record, and you would see teams like Richmond County, who plays in a really tough conference, who maybe had one loss, be seated behind an undefeated team, or even another team with one loss.
It's funny because the Max Preps, funny that you invoke that, and that's all coming back after a beautiful catch by Cameron Horton. Nice run. Holding call is going to bring that all back. And this is what I'm talking about Lee County cannot do as they move through the playoffs. Jacket fans have seen this far too much this year, and it's kind of been the story of extended periods during ball games. But Max Preps, up until recently, has had Lee County ranked much lower than they probably ought to have been based on the fact that they were undefeated. There were as many as 15 two-loss teams ranked ahead of Lee County the last time I looked a week ago.
Really?
Lee County, it's that scheduling. That beginning of the season scheduling where they're playing nobody.
Right.
And the conference hasn't done them any favors.
Even the 4A teams that they've played haven't done well.
Yeah. So this will be a win, a big win, and it's 26-2. Most folks aren't going to look much deeper than that. They're going to assume that it was a dominant win, and I think dominant is probably a strong word, but it has been an impressive display as McKendall has dropped. And good for this Southern Lee defense for continuing to play hard through this game. Fourth and a bunch coming up, and we'll get another punt from the Jackets. But my point is this at this point becomes the best win for Lee County this year, and they keep that perfect record intact. They have got to have some serious consideration to be in the top 10 and get a favorable draw.
Well, West Carteret, if they play them, I'm not certain of their schedule, but their record, but they will definitely help the strength of schedule.
It ain't good.
It's not good?
No.
Oh, wow. So there goes that theory. But, being undefeated, that'll help. No doubt. But
the guys, the guys that get together and do this, there ain't no dummies.
No.
However,
and they see a lot of football.
The notion, though, that they are that familiar with every one of these schools, they're just not. So there are a couple of things that can jump out off the paper at them, and an undefeated record regardless of whom you've played, you've gone perfect through your regular season, has to get you some additional love.
Well, and the score, the scores of the games, the stats. You've got standout players. You've got players that are college-level players.
I think that, as much as anything, may be what gets them attention, because you're looking at a guy like Desmond Evans. Des didn't come out of anywhere. He was the #1 defensive line recruit, ranked nationally as a freshman in his class. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of things that these guys that put these rankings together know as they go into the process. Love to see Lee County get a favorable draw. Southern, they're going to get in. I think it's all about matchups for them. I will be interested to see them play teams that are at their level physically, because teams like Lee County, it comes in, it's got a distinct size advantage, have given them problems. Teams that can run the ball directly at them have bothered them, not just this year, they bothered them for years, because that's the problem at a school this size, is finding those big hogs to put up front.
Well, and the depth, the depth of the team.
Yep. All right, quick pass. What you'd been calling for all day, Elijah Bryan there, goes nowhere, and it'll bring up 3rd and long.
Thomas was still hit on that one, and the pass, the one thing about the short hitch-type play, it's got to be in the right spot. That one was a little behind him. It slowed his momentum. He had to turn around, catch it. It's like fielding a ground ball in the infield on the wrong side and turning the wrong way. It just slows you down. So if he throws it in front of him, he can catch it downhill and get right up the field. But he also got popped as soon as he threw it. So I understand that. It's one of those lookout blocks. Look out.
All right, 3rd and 9 coming up for the Cavaliers.
Lee County still bringing pressure.
Drop. Took far too long with that. It's going to be dragged down by a gang of Jackets.
Yeah.
That'll bring a 4th down inside 2.5 to go in the ball game. That Cavalier punt team will roll back out there.
And that is one advantage that Lee County is going to have to utilize as they go into the playoffs, is that pass rush. Will they face teams that will be able to throw the ball better? Yes. Will that team have an unexperienced offensive line that can handle a pass rush like that? That's to be determined.
I mean, frankly, when you're talking about just bringing that front 4 without a blitzer, it can't get much better than that.
Yeah.
Not at the 3A high school level in North Carolina. That's uncommon. Yeah. All right. We'll get what's probably our last time out of the evening. We'll take a quick break as Southern Lee talks about this before they punt with 1:50 left in the game, down 26-2. You're watching the Classic Nissan Game of the Week.
You have the power to make this decision to quit smoking. It took me to get to a mature age where I understood that if I didn't stop, I was going to put myself in the same position that my mother was in. And I wanted to make a choice while I still had the chance to be here for my daughter.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
All right, welcome back to the Classic Nissan Game of the Week. Chris DeLambert, Phillip Chappell, we've been with you the whole way through. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. Hope for a close ball game. Didn't really get one. Southern's got to be proud of their performance in the second half. They've actually won the second half, as crazy as that sounds.
Lee County might have negative yards.
Yeah, they might.
Close to it.
All right, nice punt coming out of there.
Oh.
Bounce. Hit the coverage man that was a weird that was a weird set of circumstances there. Tanner Seagroves got hit with the punt like he was trying to catch it down there at the goal line, but Tanner, you want that thing to bounce and run a little bit.
Then you have a Lee County player think, oh my gosh, it hit him. Let's get on it. Wait a minute, that's the wrong side.
All right, so they get it in plus territory at the 48-yard line. Probably see maximum substitutions from Lee County here with 1:37 to go.
A lot of white on the field.
A lot of clean-ish uniforms there for Southern coming in the ball game. You don't have a whole lot of guys play football, and like we said, there's only 29 dressed for Southern, so there's not a whole lot of guys over there on the sideline that haven't been in the game at least a little bit.
Well,
and
one thing is, you look at Colin Johnson, his uniform is pretty white.
It is.
He hasn't been touched a lot.
That is a fact. All right, Johnson pitches to Boulware. Boulware around the corner, gets the edge. Will be forced out of bounds, short of the first down, 8 on the play. Clock running at 1:27. They'll stop it.
I think they're maybe trying to get another one for him here, add to the stats a little bit.
A little surprised by that. There had been some salt in this rivalry when Burton Cates and Don Simon were going at it during the Don Simon era here, but Coach Purdue and Coach Neal, they seem to get along all right. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of animosity. Haven't been any guys transferring from Southern to Lee County that have been notable either. So that's a big part of it, I think.
Yeah. Both of them good guys though.
Yeah. All right. Boulware knocked in the backfield. Nice play. Nice play. Tate Flack doing all kinds of things for his ball club tonight. All right, 3rd and 6. Counting down toward a minute. Lee County, I tell you what, Lee County can't be real excited about having gone scoreless here in the second half. And like you said, when you look at the stats, they may have negative yardage. Yeah. And if you count the penalty yards in there, I'm certain that they have negative yardage.
Well, I think it goes back to what we talked about, focus. The focus, that's when those penalties come about. When you lose your focus, you're not concentrating as much.
All right, Johnson trying to get one of those cheap first downs again.
Yep.
Clock inside 40 seconds, checks the wristband, takes a snap, hands to Boulware. Boulware wrapped up going nowhere. That'll be a 4th down coming up for the Jackets. And it looks as though they are going to be shut out in the second half, which is a small consolation for the Cavaliers. Lee County doesn't have to snap the ball again. I'd be surprised if they do, as we're inside 20 seconds. And Coach Purdue signals them over to the sidelines. A lot of shaking hands. Southern,
that's good to see. Right
too
there.
Many opportunities slipped away from them in the first half. Played well in the second.
Yep. Good sportsmanship by AJ going over and shaking hands before the line develops.
Pat McCracken is a small business owner who wants to see Sanford continue to grow. Strong schools are the key for that to happen.
I've been in education for over 28 years as a teacher, a coach, a test coordinator, an administrator, and an athletic advisor. I want to make sure I pique the students' interest academically, athletically, technologically, and artistically. Vote for me for the Lee County Board of Education.
Paid for by the committee to elect Pat McCracken Lee County School Board.
For decades, residents of Lee County have trusted First Health of the Carolinas to provide quality health care to the Sandhills region. First Health is excited to expand services offered in Lee County with the opening of the new First Health Lee campus located at 2919 Beech Tree Drive in Sanford. The newest First Health campus includes a 25,000 square foot fitness center with an indoor walking track, saltwater pool, weight area, cardio equipment, Les Mills group exercise classes, and so much more. Also offered within the fitness center are physical therapy and cardiac rehabilitation services. The 40,000 square foot medical office building includes a primary care practice, convenient care, outpatient imaging and laboratory services, back and neck pain, and a variety of surgical specialties. For more information about the new First Health Lee campus, visit our website at www.firsthealth.org or call 1-800-213-3284.
First Health of the Carolinas presents the post-game show on WBFT.
All right. So I'm Chris DeLambert. This is Phillip Chappell. Phillip knows more about offensive line play than not of anybody I know, of everybody I know. And that's what makes it fun hanging out with this guy. We hope you have enjoyed this. This is the First Health post-game show. And I tell you what, I'm impressed with the effort of the Southern Lee Cavaliers in the second half. It would have been easy to go in at halftime, come out, let your head hang, and get blown out of here. And they put up a fight. I'm a little disappointed with the execution and the game plan offensively. I don't know that this team as a whole ever really figured out what they wanted to be in the second half, let alone the first half.
Yeah. Well, you saw, almost every series of switching of the coaches, of the quarterbacks, going to passing, going to running, or we're going to try. They just did a lot, and it shows that, one, they were probably outmanned from a defensive perspective I said UNC, almost said UNC, from Lee County's perspective. But, I've been in a few of these halftime speeches when you're down pretty big. Duke, when I was there, we lost the right many games. And I promise you that the discussion at halftime was, let's go out, let's execute, let's, stop making silly mistakes, penalties, turnovers. And that's what they did. And look, they held them scoreless in the second half. That's something to build upon. That's something they can take, again, learn from, and use it in the playoffs. That if they control the things they can control, that being penalties and silly mistakes, turnovers, then they have a chance to be successful.
Yeah, you're talking about one of the best running backs in the state of North Carolina. Suddenly shut him down to nothing in the second half. That said, you really have to heap a lot of praise on that Lee County game plan and execution in the first half. Lee County looked like world beaters in the first half, and Southern Lee couldn't get out of their own way.
If we don't have a fumble on the 5-yard line in the second series of the game, who knows? It could have been a lot different because they showed the ability to bottle him up at certain times. He had some big scores, big plays. But, maybe the focus would have been a little bit better if they would have been able to move the ball, get some first downs, and not gotten behind 10-0 early.
Yep, a couple of drop passes by Lee County or Southern Lee at critical times. A couple of bad penalties, like we said, 3 first downs awarded off as the result of penalties, and then you said the 65-yard penalty, where a 5-yard penalty resulted in a 65-yard touchdown on the next play. Lee County had come in here with some questions to answer about cleaning up the game. Looked in the first half like they might be on their way to that. Second half, these things have got to be cleaned up. You are not going to get in deep into the playoffs with all of these penalties coming your way. I know it's been something the coaching staff has worked on all year to clean up. They're not there yet. Southern came in and really, over the course of the last couple of weeks, had progressed and really was playing their best football. What we saw in the second half from the defense was the best football. Other than that, I don't think you got a clear picture of what this Southern Lee team is all about. They will be upset about this result, but this may not be the most important football they play this year. It depends on how deep they can get into the playoffs. I think this team has overachieved this year based on what they had coming back. Uncertain, who's going to play quarterback and the rest of that. Southern's got a lot to play for the rest of the way. We'll see what the rest of the year holds for them.
Yeah, excited to watch both these teams play. In the postseason, I think the coaching staffs have done a great job, not just with this year's team, but setting up a program and doing some things away from the football field, strength training, just the total organization, scheming, taking advantage of the players that you have. So that's fun to see that Lee County football is in the position that it's in.
Yeah, and the bottom line is the county of Lee has the first place and the runner-up team in the Tri-County Conference. Congratulations to Lee County Yellow Jackets, Tri-County champions 2018, and your runner-up Southern Lee Cavaliers will be looking to unthrone them or dethrone them next year. We appreciate you hanging out. This has been the First Health post-game show, putting a bow on the Classic Nissan Game of the Week. We will be on site at Classic Nissan on Wednesday to do a special edition of the Coaches Show and put a bow on conference play as we head into the postseason. We appreciate you hanging out with us as always. Phillip, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do this again soon. I am Chris DeLambert. Peace.
Are you ready for some football only on WBFT? Welcome to the Classic Nissan Game of the Week.
If something is worth doing, it's worth doing right. In this case, it's worth doing right and left. Introducing the all-new buttermilk and hand-breaded Southern Sweet and Smoky and Southern TLC chicken sandwiches. One has sweet pickles, shredded lettuce, smoky backyard sauce, and a potato bun. The other is an undeniable classic with lettuce, tomato, and mayo. Zaxby's. Friends. Family. Flavor. Order ahead on Zaxby's.com or use our app to skip the wait.
For decades, residents of Lee County have trusted First Health of the Carolinas to provide quality health care to the Sandhills region. First Health is excited to expand services offered in Lee County with the opening of the new First Health Lee campus located at 2919 Beech Tree Drive in Sanford. The newest First Health campus includes a 25,000 square foot fitness center with an indoor walking track, saltwater pool, weight area, cardio equipment, Les Mills group exercise classes, and so much more. Also offered within the fitness center are physical therapy and cardiac rehabilitation services. The 40,000 square foot medical office building includes a primary care practice, convenient care, outpatient imaging and laboratory services, back and neck pain, and a variety of surgical specialties. For more information about the new First Health Lee campus, visit our website at www.firsthealth.org or call 1-800-213-3284.
It's game day at Classic Nissan.
I'm Mike Stozer, General Manager at Classic Nissan here at Sanford. My team of professionals have every position covered to meet all of your automotive needs.
The starting lineup. Your captains on offense, number 5, Holden Cruz. And number 10, Jasmine Dole. Your captains on defense, number 55, Wesley Tater Womack. Number 7, Steve Gendron. Whether you're a Yellow Jacket or a Cavalier, everybody gets a classic deal. For sales, service, or parts, visit us at ClassicNissanSanford.com or in person on Highway 87, right across from Walmart in Sanford.
Nobody beats a classic deal.
Official Caro sponsor.